set. And we're live. Here we go. Good morning and welcome everyone to the 2021 Southern Yankee Wort Share Showdown. Today's competition promises to be a classic in every sense of the word. The best of the best area homebrewers have dropped off their prize entries. Everyone is hoping to walk away with the trophy and the notoriety of being crowned king or queen of the Wort Share. Just as there's only one trophy, there can be only one champion. And sorry. I got this written down. I'm not very good at this. The competition is fierce. Nick Seacrest looking to three-peat. However,
not going to happen.
However, there are other competitors, and they've had a year to prepare, to learn, to grow, and to brew. As one competitor put it, bad mistakes. I've made a few. I've had my Wort Share of beer splashed in my face, but I've come through. That's Queen, by the way.
Been trying to figure that out all morning.
Can you feel the anticipation? Can you feel the drama? Well, thanks everyone for tuning in today. I'm your host, Kennedy. With me today is homebrew extraordinaire, Philip Westerman.
What's up, beer fans?
Say hi, Philip.
What's up, beer fans? Pay attention, man.
First of all, on behalf of all the competitors, Philip, I want to personally thank you for not competing today, giving everyone their fair share.
I'm not ready to compete yet.
Okay. Well, without further ado, I'm tired of looking at myself, and you too, Philip.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce today's judges?
Sure. Our first judge that we have is Sydney Porter, co-owner and head brewer of Southern Yankee.
Whoop, whoop. Hello.
Our next judge.
And in the background.
Oh,
Our brewer is back there.
I thought. Here, I got it. I thought you were doing. Oops. I thought you were doing more. All right. Great start.
Hey, like I said, it's going to be a fun day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we started drinking.
Right? And our next judge is Preston Brown, owner-operator of The Grain Cellar over in Humble.
Yes.
What's up?
Best hugs.
Best hugs ever.
Last but not least, our next judge is Cody Evans, co-owner and head brewer at Deca over in Porter.
Hello, everybody. Where's the camera? Right there.
Yeah, it's right there. Okay.
Face.
Yes, it is.
Before we get started, let's talk to Sydney for a second. Sydney, you want to give us a little bit of a history here of Wort Share and what's going on and stuff?
Yes. So our Wort Share, this is the third annual one. We're going to try and do it every single year. Make sure all our homebrewers have ample opportunity to do something new every year and exciting. It was one of our ideas to kind of really engage the local homebrewing community and bring them both, have an opportunity to come and brew with me on a professional system, which is always fun, and also it's fun to see the creativity and what people do in their beers at home, where sometimes there are things that like I can't really do on a grand scale that is really interesting to see on a smaller scale with homebrewers. We've been here at the 1960 location for 3.5 years now. We're working on opening number 2 in Montrose, which I'm very excited about. So the homebrew beer this year, the Wort Share winner, may be at both locations. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to see what happens. Yeah.
All right. I think, are we ready to start?
Yeah, let's get going.
All right.
We'll have the assistants pour out the first beer.
All right. Let's see what we got here. I am excited. Nothing else is working, but I'm good.
So he's going to pour.
Oh, we got a lot of viewers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's great. So are we going to say the entry number? Are you going to put that on your screen, right? Like the style?
Yes, I am. I'm working on it.
Gotcha.
He's wearing many hats today.
There's too many hats. I gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I'm very pumped. I'm excited. The list of the beers today, there's a nice spread, so I'm excited to see
All over the place.
all of it. Cute.
All right.
So this is entry number 6. The category is 29A, which is a fruit beer.
And if I'm right, this one is supposed to be pineapple, orange,
And a little sea salt
and some sea salt.
with a base of a blonde ale. The ABV
What's your
is
base was? Your base.
the
You wanna
base
talk
of
about
the wort. Yeah, so the base wort was very simple. You could expand on it as much as you wanted. It had Munich, Turo, Vienna, and a little bit of carapils to add some more proteins for head retention. We didn't adjust the mash very much. I added a little tiny bit of the lactic acid to get the pH right for your mash. We mashed at 150 degrees this year to kind of give it that medium to low body. And because you guys didn't have control over that mash temperature, the body of the beer does have that flexibility because you didn't have control. So some of our darker beers where you'd expect a heavier body, we would take that into account. All right, we are going to start judging.
So the first category is aroma,
Thanks, sir.
and that's one of the reasons why you're seeing everybody smell their beer, right? It's aroma is a big part of it.
Seeing y'all just thought y'all were
Ew.
gonna watch a bunch of people drinking beer today. Now you're getting a little bit of a lesson. How to judge a beer.
You can see Sydney, or maybe not.
Nah,
You're
it's
still on me.
Well, I'm on the beer.
On the beer itself.
Yeah.
Fair.
So Sydney, you can see Sydney. She's looking at it through the light. She'll wipe the glass to make sure it's not frosted, and see all the way through it. Or if it's not, in this case, it's
A little bit of haze.
a little hazy. That's the second category is appearance. And then after that is flavor, mouthfeel, and then overall impression.
one day's a biting.
The salts.
So, question for you guys. Are you guys judging this as the fruit beer?
Yes.
Okay, so
So
not
this
the
is
blonde
a-
ale.
Correct.
Yes. So when looking at the tag that was placed with this beer, it said 29A fruit beer with a base of a blonde ale. And when you have, technically, if you take this to a big competition, if you put 2 numbers on there, it'll be disqualified because you didn't give it something structured to base it off. But we're not gonna do that because we're not structured. So we're gonna just take it as a fruit beer and look at the fruit beer categories and judge it off that. and we're gonna go through and kind of fill out our own notes. We'll have a small conversation about it, and then we'll move on to the next beer after we give our scores for this sheet.
See, this would be about the time that Josh would start talking about his lawn. Should
Yeah.
I do that?
Yeah, go for it.
Nah, I'm good.
How was your lawn today?
It's a little wet from the rain I got yesterday. Needs to be mowed again. But nobody wants to hear about that.
Oh, I want to hear about it.
No, you don't.
Please.
You got your own yard to work with.
Please, tell me more.
Nah. If you want to learn about lawn care, go to Randy Lemon.
I think he's on right now.
He is on right now
Lemon.
for another 30 minutes. If you miss him today, he's on tomorrow.
Speaking of fruits, lemon. All right.
Now-
There we go.
Now that you're done copying all that stuff.
That's what we're looking for. Here we go. So, aromas here, we're looking for distinctive, according to our BJCP guidelines, distinct aromas associated with the declare fruit. Who writes this stuff?
Some
Should
nerd
be
for the BJCP.
Noticeable in the aroma. However, a note of some fruit, such as raspberries and cherries, should have strong aromas. No.
Not even bother tasting it, just taking it as a shot.
No, that wasn't. I took a few sips. That wasn't my only sip.
I think it was a shot.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Taste, who
Can
cares?
we-
Just
can
throw
we-
it back.
It's going to be a really long day.
Yeah,
Use
remember
that
these
up.
are
Right.
like over
Oh,
8%.
what I get? Like two ounce pours?
Yeah, but you're
Right.
getting 32 ounce pours.
Okay.
30.
He
Do you
doesn't
wanna
do
Just
math.
kidding.
It's
Chat
okay.
about it?
Julie can drive home.
So the fruit on the nose was very forward. There is a small amount of kind of what I like a sticky sweetness on the nose.
Yeah.
But
Tropical.
yeah, a little tropical, but it wasn't wordy,
Yeah.
right? Just it was definitely on the sweeter side.
I
But it
also
wasn't
got
wordy.
a little bit of a sour note off of the nose.
Okay.
It was
Could it be the acid of the pineapple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the pineapple
Yeah.
comes
Heavy
through.
pineapple.
Yeah.
I don't get a ton of orange.
That's what I say. I got
No, I
very
didn't.
little orange
Yeah.
on the nose.
But
I got
that's okay.
pineapple, but a little bit of.
I really like the pineapple on
Mhm.
it. It was pleasant.
It was some pineapple can get a little bit too acidic, and I don't think that it was too much of that. I did in the middle of drinking it. There's a little bit of that bitterness, like a little bit too more. So I think just a tiny bit of astringent right in the center, but it ends nicely and it starts very nicely.
Yeah, pineapple's hard to do. When if you use a really fresh pineapple, it can be really acidic. And if so, what you have to do is you have to let that pineapple age and get almost to the rot stage.
Yeah.
And then add it And that's usually the best way because then you get all of those aromatics and the sweetness from it.
See, homebrew tips. I would never have done that.
Just like with banana bread.
Yeah.
Just like with banana
There you
bread.
go.
Well, so banana bread's actually, okay, we won't. It's actually alpha amylase in bananas that turn them brown.
There you go.
Which draws it all back to homebrewing.
This is Preston's knowledge nugget. I do believe it's a little undercarbed. I think more bubbles would actually maybe be a little nice to kind of get some of that flavor out and about. Just slightly, not too much. Especially when it's generally put in bottles, you lose a little bit of that carb.
I actually thought it was just fine. It's not bitey, but a lower carbonation allows that fruitiness undertone to come through.
Okay.
The carbonic acid will definitely change the
it.
flavor.
I think, but I thought it a little bit undercarbonated as well. But then, if it's most sour beers, or especially Berliner Weisses, I want those to be a lot.
Well, it's
more
not a sour beer. It's a blonde.
fruit beer.
Yeah,
Blonde.
fruit beer. Yeah.
But I'm getting almost similar to what a sour would be with the salt and the fruit. But I know we're judging it on the. I got to remember that. Judge it on the fruit beer.
Yeah, it is a fruit beer. Yes. I think it was pretty enjoyable though, honestly. I mean, there's not any major off flavors that I got. Nothing that really stood out to me. I mean, there's some maybe minor adjustments in the process. If you want more orange, maybe a little bit more orangey.
That's one of the things I put in it. Just a
One of
little
the
more orange
things-
and balance.
Yeah. I basically wanted a little bit cleaner to brighten it up a little. So maybe choose a yeast that attenuates a little bit more.
A drier yeast.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could make the fruit pop more for sure. Yeah. Okay. Let's get our numbers down, and then we'll do a quick recap on what we'd score this beer.
Looks like Steve's already getting heckled on the chat there.
Oh. For some reason, I didn't put a total score thing, so you'll have to just write it on the bottom.
Sorry,
Got
Nick.
cut off.
I said
Yeah.
Steve.
Okay.
I meant Nick.
Okay.
I think it was Steve that was doing the heckling, but it was
Okay.
Nick getting.
And I was concerned because I think I put his name in the last one and spelled it wrong. So I was like trying to go back and get it. I was like, oh wait, did I do that wrong too?
It's usually hard to judge the first beer.
For some reason, I can't post on the Liquid Lunch page.
Huh?
Yeah, I can't post on Liquid
Okay.
Lunch page. Did you block me, Kennedy?
Just want to do it at the bottom.
Yeah, they'll just write it on the bottom.
Yeah, I can't.
What exactly
Oops.
are you trying to post?
Oh, the live.
Trying to share?
Yeah. For some reason, I can't. I can't share to it.
I was able to share.
To Liquid Lunch?
Oh, I didn't try to do it to the page.
I shared it to the regular pages, but I can't share it to Liquid Lunch for some reason.
So, Brendan, to kind of answer your question, I believe there's 10 entries.
There's 10 entries, spanning quite a few different styles.
Most of them are between 29 and 29A, though, isn't it? Or is there?
We have 5 that are 29A or 29. Do you want to say the score or
Let's save that to the end.
to the end?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do that.
yeah.
All right, we're ready for number 10.
Yeah.
That's probably a good idea.
Keep it a surprise.
Yeah. Keep you on your toes. So,
Sir?
number 10 is 29A. It's another fruit beer. This one has a note that it is strawberry. There is no base style listed.
You got a DD, so. But you have the extra.
DD.
In our downtime?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, he's always the DJ.
And it,
Oh.
yeah, in
It's 3
between
and I'm what? No.
in between our entries, we're gonna we can chat about like what's happening at the breweries, what's happening with your move. Absolutely. So what's going on with your move? Where'd you move? Where'd you move
I
to?
haven't moved yet, but I'm trying to. We're basically moving right down the road about a mile.
Thank you.
And we are in the process right now of packing up the store.
Okay.
The store's a mess and it's driving me nuts. But
Lots of boxes.
we are, lots and lots of boxes. But we're diligently eating that elephant one bite at a time.
There you go. It's really the only thing you can do. There's no easy way to do it unless you hire movers, which
What?
Yeah.
Movers, speaking of which, on the 18th, I would love to have you come out and help me pack up the store and move it to the next location. We need all the help we can get. You know what they say, many hands make light work.
Right. So, Mr. Jeffrey Griffiths has got a pretty good idea on there. Dump all the extra stuff in the trophy, and then whoever wins has to drink it.
like a grog bucket.
There you go. A ring dunk, whatever you want to use.
That does not sound tasty.
That sounds kind of.
It's not, or what it's
Oh,
that's
I got
in the
one.
Navy. That's known as a grog bin. And then in bar talk, bar lingo,
No, this is the second
a big mix
Yeah.
No, that's the
of
first
mixed
one.
of
No, it
beers
isn't.
and
That was the
liquors
first
is
one
called
that
the
was up there
birthday
that I
shot.
handed to you.
Oh.
Listen to the judges.
Okay.
I mean, listen to people bringing you the beer can.
Okay. All right, so this is entry number 10. So this is just a fruit beer, right?
Fruit beer,
Okay.
It is
specifically
a
strawberry.
sour. It is also a sour though, right?
Is it? No, they didn't say it was a sour. So we're doing number
Oh.
10,
Okay.
which is
It's
just fruit beer
Okay.
with a specific of strawberry.
Thank you for that.
Now, I'll say this about this beer. I could smell the fruit just from it sitting here.
Very fruity.
Strawberry's hard to do too.
Strawberry's very hard to do.
Yeah.
Did you say it's very hard to do?
Very, very hard.
Ba-dum-bum.
Somebody's got to keep the dad jokes going.
That's a lot of strawberry.
I was trying to see if it have a little red color to it.
It's
Just
peachy.
a slight, yeah,
I felt like that peachy.
yeah. May have actually used real strawberries. You never know.
That is even harder.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little lull here. I want to say hi to Christina Porter watching. I guess that's Mama.
That's my mom. She's Mama Porter. She's the brew mom.
Got Maria, Brandon. Let's see who else we got. Steve Wood, Blake Winter.
Did Blake enter?
I don't know if he did or not.
Did Blake Winter enter?
I don't know. Blake, did you enter?
We'll find out later.
Yeah.
I know. And I like they're referring to Nick as the goat of war shares. And then Brendan's corner says more like the deflate gator of war shares. The
Ouch.
Patriots of war shares. I think we got a little bit of like some beef going on that might need to get settled this year. I think if a three-peat happens. Oh.
I I don't get as much strawberry as I thought I would.
Yeah,
Is that just me?
No.
Okay.
It's not you.
It's not.
It's huge on the
dry.
nose.
Yeah, it's dry.
I'm getting
Off note
I get an
there.
extract flavor.
Yeah.
And I
Maybe.
mean that by the
The slipperiness.
bitey.
It has a little bit of a lingering bitterness for sure.
The back of the tongue.
Like the sides and the back, and like right at the enter of the
Yep.
throat. Yeah. With the nose so crazy strawberry, I expected it to be like,
Yeah.
strawberry.
Right?
It was definitely a little drier. It may have had like a secondary ferment with the fruit.
That can
I'm
do
not
it.
plugged in. Excuse me.
Sure, it was the store.
That could have been bad.
What, losing the laptop?
What'd you do?
I wasn't plugged in. I'm plugged in now.
You sure about it?
It's all good. At this point, if anybody watching has any questions for the judges, go ahead and post them there to the Facebook. And I'm sure we will get to those questions eventually. Anybody has any questions about the beer judging process or about the beer in general, or if you want to ask about Deca Brewing or Southern Yankee, want to find the latest on the grain cellar, post a question. We'll get to it at some point.
Yeah, between Jules and I, I'm sure we'll catch them. I'm trying to watch for
Yeah.
them to come up.
Well, now that I know it's officially, I've been removed from the Liquid Lunch Show. Is there something you're trying to tell me, Kennedy? I can't even post on your page.
I can post on my page.
I can't, no?
It's not my page anyway.
Well, on the page. I don't know, I think you're trying to tell me something. Just 6 weeks shy
Oh,
of joining forever, and you
wait.
boot me off the page?
wait, what? What? Hold on, what? 6 weeks shy of what?
Of what? It's just a little bit coming up. So yes, and I'm sorry, judges are scoring, but yes, do we have an exact location? Did we tell the audience where the grain cellar is moving to?
1712 First Street East, Suite B.
Okay, and then how far is it from the current location?
About a mile.
Okay,
Not
sweet.
very far.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
Nice.
a little bit smaller, but I've got a lot of open space that I'll be able to fit it all in without a problem.
cool. And we can still have nice meetings
We'll-
and
we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see.
tasters and.
I got to get all the important stuff in first, and then we'll see.
All
Get the
right.
money makers in there, and then
Yeah.
let us mooches come in later.
That's right.
Well, definitely if you need help arranging things or setting,
You'll
organizing.
be there on the 18th,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I'm not a mover. I'm a pointer.
Uh,
I show people where to put things, and
That's-
then people move those things to me.
My wife has that covered also.
Okay.
Maybe you two can collaborate.
There we go.
Okay. I'll just recap a little some of the things that I was tasting. The nose is wonderful. I'd expect something that's really nice and fruity, something that's nice and light and effervescent and very just pleasant, especially on a hot summer day. The color is great. It does have a little bit of haze, so I think maybe letting it sit. That can also come from if you used whole fruit. They used whole fruit. You can get that from the pectin. There's different things that can happen there with fruit. So I'm not crazy, like I'm not upset that it's not perfectly clear. The flavor, it didn't quite match up to the aroma. It needed, I think, maybe there was a secondary ferment if you used whole fruit where some of that flavor gets kind of wiped away with the fermentation. There's not tons of strawberry. It's a little drier than I expected, which is kind of what I thought maybe a secondary ferment, because then it gets really kind of dry, you lose a little flavor, doesn't really do as well. There's a little bit of a light bitterness kind of at the back of the tongue. But I mean, overall, I wouldn't say there's like anything that's like slapping me in the face, like, oh, this is not a good beer. I think there's some flaws that can be helped within process or how they add the strawberry. There's different ways to do that. But yeah, that's kind of a little rundown of what I'm kind of tasting.
Yeah, I'll just say, I was really along the lines as Sydney. The nose, I was expecting to get this wonderful strawberry flavor, kind of a thick, I won't say thick, but a real coating mouth just from the aroma of it, like eating strawberries. But I got a little bit of astringency, and I think it's, to your point, of re-fermentation. I almost got almost like I taste it as an extract flavor. That's at drying finish. Probably not extract, but that's what I perceive when I'm drinking things like that. So, but overall, I mean, it was good beer. It just really would be fantastic, I think, if it were a little less dry,
A little more body.
a little more body.
So you could balance it out. I think it was just had a few things that kind of cocked it out of balance.
Yep.
That's essentially what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like we were saying, strawberry is hard to do. It's not an easy flavor.
Strawberry, watermelon,
Yeah,
things that are kiwi, things that have that kind of delicate flavors.
Anyways.
So hard.
Yeah. As an improvement on what, if it were me, what I would do is, once primary fermentation's done, I would go ahead and kill off the yeast by adding maybe a metabisulfite or a sorbate to it. Then add the fruit and then carbonate it in a keg and serve it that way. It would be much more fruit forward, not just aroma. The aroma was really nice. I really enjoyed the nose on it, but it just didn't have it in the flavor and body of the beer.
Well, I mean, it happens.
Yeah. So
All right.
next,
Number 3.
Tris.
We have an interesting question from viewer Adams. How different is it to judge beers versus meat?
Ooh. I've never judged mead, so I believe you have, yes.
It's very similar. There's different terms that we use for the types of meads and the sweetness of a mead. I think they call it, drawing a blank. Basically, there's different grades. So you have sweet meads, slack meads, and dry meads, I think are the, I may be wrong. It's been probably 4 years since I judged a mead.
Is it judged more like a wine than a beer, maybe? Because it sounds kind of like this, or like
Not necessarily. It's
sparkling wine
very
or dry or
similar.
something. Okay.
I mean, each category of alcohol or food in general has its own common knowledge, like language. So, like, for example, there's like the beer flavor wheel, where there's different like words like very specific, like horse blanket. That's actually in a stylistic guide. I'm like exactly how to tell what that is, and that's so everyone that has different palates have common language to find one flavor, right? So every single, like, wine has a different language, and I'd imagine mead has a different language in that same kind of manner.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Where it has the same kind of characteristics while you're smelling it, you're looking at it, you're tasting it. For beer specifically, like wine, you spit that out, right? But beer, the finish is really important, so you have to actually drink it. Otherwise, it will change the whole experience.
That's an interesting point, yeah.
Nice.
Lovely.
Yes.
I know.
I like that.
Yes.
It laces really well. It's got a Belgian.
So this
note.
is the only information we've got is it is a Saison, judged on 25B. The ABV is 9.5, or the estimated ABV. So a little on the higher side.
And the laces is what you talked about when you do this and where it sticks? Okay.
Yeah.
There's two types of Belgian yeasts. There's a French Saison, which is peppery, kind of spicy notes, and then there's the Belgian note, which is, it has a little bit of a Belgian flavor. It's a kind of a soured or a
Florally.
funky, earthy tone. And this one's definitely down the Belgian flavor.
Yeah, it
I
is.
don't
It
get
is.
any of the
It is
peppercorn.
specifically a Belgian saison, not a French saison.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
For-
did they put that in there?
Yeah, so it is 25B,
But
which
it
is
is-
saison underneath strong Belgian ales.
Okay, Belgian. There
Yeah.
you go.
And it's
So,
definitely Belgian.
it's
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, this is right in your
Yeah.
wheelhouse.
I love saisons.
I know. If
Say
only
the-
everyone did.
One of the craziest things about saisons is like when we looked at the I mean, yes, it's 25B, but when you just look at the word saison, it can be tart, it can be sour, it can be hopped, it can be fruity, it can have malt characteristics. It is such a broad category of just like saison. So specifying it down where it's a Belgian saison gives it like, oh, okay. So that's like saying IPA. Like there's thousands of different types of ways you could move an IPA into it, and it's the same thing with a saison.
And that's a very valid point, because what we've noticed on these judgings is there's a lot of great beers out there, but if they're not put in the right category, then it's not.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
helping them. But it sounds like something like that, the more specific, especially with something like this, it's like.
The more specific your beer is, the easier it is to judge,
Yeah.
and therefore it's easier to win in large format competitions.
And what you have said is to judge by the beer that you made, not the beer
Correct.
you were thinking of.
Yes. For example, our peanut butter porter was in my head when I built the recipe. It was meant to be a stout, but it just didn't. So it's a porter.
Same thing. Knox Road Porter was supposed to be a stout.
Exactly. So a good brewer will brew with intention, but then if it doesn't happen the way they think it is, they'll be like, okay, well, this is what it is, not what I wanted it to be.
It's still something, just not what you intended.
Yeah, I think I've had that advice told to me several times
Yeah.
by several different brewers.
I hear that a lot, often, yeah.
I haven't used it yet.
I think it's just probably a framework, or maybe an ego, or maybe
It's
a
warm all the way
determination,
down.
or something that I brewed it this is what I want it to be.
That's what I want it to be.
It's
That's
not
what it's going to be.
hot.
No,
Yeah.
That's
it's
not
just
what it is.
warming.
That's not what
It's
it
very,
is.
very
Think
warming.
I
about
don't get any fusels
No.
on it. It's that
It's just
across the top
it's
of the nose.
9.5%.
It's
Yeah.
just nice and
It's
toasty.
At least.
Yeah.
It's less like a shot of vodka and more like a campfire.
There you go.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Oh, it's nice. I'm not real big on Belgian saisons. It's just not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
That's pleasant. It's
Okay.
I want an air freshener I made out of this.
put it in your car and just drive away. It's
Andy,
nice.
you like saisons too. That's
What?
You like saisons a lot too.
I do. This one's
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
pretty good.
do you ever do, Cody, when you
I'm more on
brew
the
your
French side.
saisons, do you ever do
Most of the Belgians I've
multiple
had taste like it.
fermentations,
They
or
have
do you always
a
just do a single.
Single.
I've
perfume,
just done a single, yeah.
cologne
I
flavor.
can
for almost
typically
all
I
of
can get
them.
it to dry out, but I do
Very
ferment for
floral.
21 to 25 days typically. To get
Saisons like to stop,
and then
sit,
and then go.
and then go again.
So it takes 21. They'll get there. But the other thing, I like saisons to be clear. So if I can let them age for 2 to 3 months before I serve them, they're even better. Unfortunately, when we opened, I wasn't able to do that with the first batch. And the last keg is on right now, and it poured perfectly clear. I was like,
We're down.
Finally.
it's the last keg.
We're down to your last keg of Saison.
I've got another batch in this fermenter.
Oh, good. 'Cause I love that beer.
Yeah.
I am out of the hibiscus, though. The hibiscus is gone. So we'll do that one again.
It's like your signature beer, anyways. The hibiscus saison. So.
Signature, but
It's still good beer.
it's pretty good.
I had the pleasure of drinking your Saison right out of the fermenter.
Yeah, that's a long drive home. That's a lot of yeast.
I had a little bit of restraint.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wanted to drink a lot more than I did.
So Adam says he has a lambic that is coming up on bottling soon. Is
It's
so
alembic style.
lambic style because it's not in. Yeah.
Ask him how old it is.
But yeah, so Adam, yeah, let us know some more information about that.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what is a lambic just like a more carbonated saison, or what's the difference between a saison and a lambic?
Lambic is
No, it's a sour. It's a
Oh,
Seltzer.
got it. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Brett,
Okay.
PDO.
I always thought it was similar.
Lacto.
no lambic is
Okay.
the one is my favorite.
Your favorite,
Yeah.
yeah, absolute favorite.
Lambic is all wild.
That's yes.
Wow, remember?
And that's-
And never crosses the threshold of
Nope.
the brew house.
No, thank you.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one don't enter into a competition. You'll have
I mean-
a hard time getting any brewer to
I'd like-
brew it.
I mean, you can enter it and I'll enjoy it, but it's not going to be brewed
But
here.
nobody's gonna brew, yeah.
Yeah. And why is that, Sydney?
Yeah, no wild stuff. We're not doing wild things. The second you bring any of that wild stuff in your brew house, it is
Hard to get rid of.
extremely challenging. And sometimes you can never, and that's when you get Jester King.
I was gonna say, isn't that how
You
Jester
are
King was born?
exactly right.
Yeah.
They just embraced it. They're like, okay, well, this has happened. What are we going to do?
They
And they
picked up
embraced it.
Because it could literally cost millions.
Millions.
Yeah.
To get out.
Because they picked up a wild yeast out in their
They
house
purposely
that-
do it now.
No,
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say now that, yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, they just ran with it. It's like, well, it's here. Let's
My understanding is that they were talking. I was hearing, and I don't know if it's true or not, that they were actually going to start brewing regular non-wild beers, but they were going to do it at a separate brew house.
Location, yeah.
That makes sense, yes. They would
It's
almost
cheaper
have to, right?
cheaper
You have to,
yeah.
Yeah, cheaper to buy another brew.
Yes.
Well, they just do a smaller.
Yeah, the smaller, but still, it's that much, yeah.
decided to add a
So,
burn the brew house
uh,
down now to kill the yeast.
Does
that's in
anybody
there.
get
And
a hop bitterness on the very back end of that?
There's a little bit. There's a little bit of a lingering bitterness, but I wouldn't say it's
No, it's-
overwhelming
no, it's-
or
I just
there's
wasn't
there is a
expecting
little
it.
bit.
Yeah. It's
I'm glad it's not overly sweet though,
yeah.
and has a little bit of that. Like so, the trade off on that is that the hop may have been blending well enough with that the sweetness of the yeast itself, where it's just a little bit. But I think it's there,
Yeah.
but it doesn't stick around for a crazy long time.
No.
Yeah.
And it's also 9+%. It's,
Yeah, it's smooth for
Yeah.
9.5%.
It's, but you can feel it's warm. I can feel it warming, which I'm okay with. So
Just nicely though, yeah, like you're saying.
that's
not-
about the right serving.
Like you said, campfire, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't have guessed 9%.
No.
So Adam says that
It-
the lambic is about a year old now. It's been 9 months on secondary.
Right. And a true lambic is and I know this because I've been to Cantillon. It's a blend
Name
of
dropper.
it's a blend of 3-year, 2-year, and 1-year goose.
Goose.
Excuse you?
Do you need
A
to
goose.
pat on the back? It might help.
Goose.
So it's not goes.
A
No,
goose and a goes are different.
Oh.
E-Z-E.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ah.
You try to say that
it's
word.
one of those French words, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, what is somebody's asking about
Okay.
dregs? Oh,
They're asking if he used bottled yeast or if it was wild yeast for his lambic style.
Oh, okay. I was like,
It's typically purposefully infused. So either from dregs on a different beer or from a vial directly from a yeast source.
Right.
Is anybody watching the comments on YouTube?
Oh.
Yeah, I am.
No, I was doing Facebook.
Anything going on there?
No, it's the robot doing its job.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we do have a couple people on there. I think Matt and Brendan are watching on YouTube.
I thought Brendan was going to be here.
He'll probably be here later, or because he was supposed to go. He was up in the air about being here. He may have had to go out of town this weekend.
Oh,
so.
okay. Well, we miss you, Brendan. Thought you was going to be
Hi,
here.
Gracie.
Is Jeffrey still here?
Yeah, he's outside.
Ah,
He's outside one of the viewers on the Facey Space
okay.
and the YouTube.
Hi, Jeff.
Yeah.
How's it going?
For the next one?
I didn't
Yeah,
really-
we are ready for the next one.
I didn't get to say hi to you today, Jeff. 'cause I was
Yes,
busy. I was
and
busy
speaking
setting
of
up.
Belgian saisons, we just our barrel team, or our team over here, we took out our Belgian saison that we age in barrels yesterday. So looking out in a couple weeks, we'll have bottles available of our tequila barrel aged Belgian saison that we did last year, and then also we aged it in a gin previously spiced rye barrel. This year, so I wanted to try it. It's very experimental, but we'll see how it goes. And our Belgian saison we brew with ginger, orange peel, and a little bit of black pepper to kind of pump up those spice characteristics. So I'm excited to see how those guys turn out. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a lot of flavors.
it's a lot of flavors. The tequila, a lot of people were scared of the tequila, but aged tequila is not nearly as harsh as when you're thinking of young tequilas.
Right.
So it actually blends really well with that spiciness of the Belgian saison. Very excited.
Añejo tequila.
It was a yeah.
Reposado or
yeah.
añejo?
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah, we actually
good
got
stuff.
got a really good question from Brandon. It says, when is the So Yank Decca collab?
Kind of all the time.
I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah,
We haven't
take some
scheduled one
time.
I
yet.
haven't scheduled one yet.
I mean, you've been here plenty of times when I was brewing.
Coming soon. We'll have to figure something
That
out.
sounds pretty awesome.
Might be like a 18 or 17%
Okay.
saison or something like that.
So, number one is a kettle sour mango
Cody Matt
papaya.
says save some
Yes.
crackers for everybody else.
This is around 3%, so nice switcher.
Sure, Matt.
Brendan should be here
Okay, so
shortly.
tell me again.
Good, good.
Mango papaya kettle sour,
Yep.
around 3% ABV.
Mango.
And this is based off fruit beer category, not kettle sour
Okay.
category. Fruit beer.
So it's a fruit beer, not a kettle sour.
It is a kettle sour, but they chose to get it judged by 29A, which is fruit beer.
Okay, so
So it kind of goes back to
So
the
we keep-
importance of
Choosing your
Telling
category,
them what
right?
you
You can
want it
tell
to
me
be.
what it is, but choosing your category on how you want it to be judged,
Right.
which is it's a talent in itself, deciding what category.
can you switch to the beer cam?
Yes.
I remember we even said you could, in fact, enter it twice in two different if you're not
In a
sure.
professional
Oh, in a
competition,
professional,
yes.
Maybe not in this.
Not
but yeah.
here.
But I mean, if you were in a professional, yeah, if you're unsure,
Very
you can
low
enter it in
to
both.
no head.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very still on the appearance.
I was like,
and they've been doing hard pours on it too. So.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely did.
nope.
I can't tell if that's
No way.
mango or papaya, but it smells like
It's
both.
tropical.
Tropical is probably, yeah, that's a word.
Can't really pinpoint either one, but it's that heavy, like tropical stone fruit
Yep.
kind of thing.
It's definitely stone. Yeah. The papaya, I think, is more dominant.
I don't think I've ever actually eaten a papaya.
Ew. To me, papayas taste like vomit.
Good note on that.
I
It does
can't-
not.
I
Let's
can't-
clarify.
I-
This
I-
does not smell like vomit.
No.
I thought that it was that Thai fruit that smelled like
The
vomit.
mango's a light,
But it's not
light
papaya.
background. I think the
Yeah, what
mango
is
is
that?
what's giving the
I'm trying to
stone
remember. I
fruit
want to say
Yeah.
dragon
and
fruit,
the
but I don't think that's
papayas.
right.
Yeah.
There's
Ooh,
one
the
that's
front
like
note.
super
But we don't have a.
It's,
we do have a declared base.
It smells really bad. but
Kettle
everybody
sour
says it
base.
tastes
Got it.
great.
But
No,
it
that's
is a fruit beer.
fermented
Right.
cabbage.
So we got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
something he likes too. He likes it, but
Well, that's tasty.
Jeffrey says he didn't put that much thought into what category his beer needed to go in.
First mistake.
Oh shit! Sorry, I was just reading the comment.
Mango and papaya. Interesting. He didn't want to be on camera anymore.
You gotta get a phone call.
It's always funny watching the delay between all the different streams.
Yeah. Yeah, this
It's something.
is, head or not, I really like this beer. It's really fruity.
It is, definitely. Just wish my palate was more refined to where I could tell you what fruits I'm getting
Yeah.
off of it. So,
I'm getting a little bit of mango, a little bit of papaya.
That's good there. That's what's in that. So
cheater.
Yeah.
That's what he told you was in there, or what they said was in there. Yeah. Watch my
It's-
pronouns.
It's on the label.
Ah,
Work stuff.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
watching the shop today.
Brian Eoff is watching the shop for him today.
Oh, wait,
Yes, that Brian Eoff.
Wow.
he's back?
Well, he never left. Just handling up his personal stuff, so
Work.
always work.
Moles and trolls, moles and trolls.
there's like a slickness that I can't. Is that the mango? The fruit?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that's.
Lack of carbonation too.
I think that's what that's one of my biggest
I'm getting
comments.
you
The
set.
carb would help balance and blend
Yep.
everything a little
Yep.
bit nicer.
That's exactly what I had. Was I just get.
Very fruity.
Be a nice frozen one.
What?
Be a nice frozen.
Make a slushy out of
Slushy.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could see that.
Oh, I could totally see that when you said that.
That's definitely a lacto
Mhm.
fermentation.
It doesn't have that cheesiness that sometimes can happen though.
I think that's because of the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
The,
That might be it.
the mango papaya. Mango's definitely there in the flavor. The papaya on the nose and mango on the palate.
So Cody, y'all got anything new in the future?
Yeah, we well, our fermenters made it through the hurricane, so our new fermenters are coming from New Orleans.
That's right. Y'all were supposed to be getting new
Yeah,
10 barrels.
they were supposed to be delivered last week, and well, hurricane came, but they survived it. I got a call yesterday, so hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks we'll have those. And we have a Dunkel that's in the fermenter now. It's actually lagering, and we have a Pilsner that's in the fermenter. Just started. I brewed that last week, so get to play around with some lagers.
Oh.
Kind of see.
So is this your first lager?
It'll be the first one we've done, yeah. So we'll get to see.
I think you were saying earlier that y'all y'all got more space with
We
the,
did. Yeah. We got the space behind us, so additional, basically doubled our size. We will put. The plan right now is to put a barrel room in so we can start doing barrels without losing seating, and a secondary walk-in cooler so we can have storage for distribution whenever we get started on that. So
awesome.
Distribution will start, well, once we get the bigger fermenters. And then we'll start doing kegs to go.
Oh, cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's moving fast.
Yeah.
And y'all been open since February?
February 12th.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
That's blowing and going.
Yeah, we're brewing quite a bit.
You're just making up time for what happened with when in the beginning. So.
Yeah. Oh man, the Friday before the freeze is when we opened.
Great timing.
Yeah, we were defrosting frozen pipes on Monday morning
Oh my gosh.
with a heat gun, hoping it didn't break.
It was like who was it that opened up right before COVID?
It's like quite a few people, honestly.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Oh, can you open the door? It is well,
Is it time?
Time.
it's 11, so we did say we were gonna open up earlier. Well, nope, they're walking away. That's okay. They might be here for lunch, but the door will be open now. Yeah. Growing pretty fast, and that's good. If you're not growing, you're slowly dying.
There you go.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to do like a little rundown of what they tasted? So it's not just me every time.
Yeah, so it was definitely a sour. Stone fruits were definitely on the nose. The biggest problem is no carbonation. The carbonic acid would help brighten up the sourness and make it probably a lot more aroma and a lot more pleasant on the palate. But because it had zero carbonation, which could be, I don't think this was a bottle conditioned beer. I think it was a kegged beer. Anytime you're doing kegged beers and you're trying to enter them into a carbonation, always over carbonate before you bottle. Can't stress that enough. Also, bottles need to be cold in order for it to not gas off the CO2 in suspension if there was any. Overall, it could have been a whole lot better had it had some carbonation.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm seeing, and it would add a lot more balance and blending capabilities if you added that little bit of like just bubbliness and all that brightness that you can get from it.
So just in general, is this a pretty common problem with homebrew competition is undercarbonation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same thing we had last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I seem to remember that from last year.
Yeah.
Lots of undercarbonation.
It's been something I've been fighting with all the competitions we've been doing with the club. Is almost everything I've done has been. Yeah. So I got smart and listened to somebody.
and you overcarbonated.
Well, I overcarbonate and I also relieve the pressure off of my keg before I start bottling.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn the pressure down to 2, cool off your bottles, pour into the bottle at an angle if you're not bottom filling. If you are bottom filling, make sure you cap on CO2 or
Alright.
foam.
I want to say it was you, Preston, that gave me the advice of like use the wand you use like whenever you're filling up if you used to bottle all your beer, you have that wand. You take out the little spring mechanism at the
That's
bottom,
right.
put that in your picnic tap,
That's right.
and then fill up your bottle.
Yeah, the picnic tap and the bottle wand are the same exact size, so you can literally put your bottle wand into your picnic tap
Yeah.
and bottle fill from the bottom. That's and not have to worry about having a beer gun and all of that stuff. So
Yeah, and since I still I am kegging now, but I haven't upgraded to a keezer yet, and I just have in my cooler. I just use picnic
Now somebody's
taps.
got one for sale.
I'm just using picnic taps on my kegs, and so that's how I do. That's whenever I have to fill up bottles. That's how I do it.
At
Now-
least I think they still have
Now,
one for
if
sale.
I can only brew beer a little better.
Kegerator.
No.
Oh, it's gone.
Damn.
so
But I never
not
I
in the hot
never heard
freezer.
the cold bottle part before. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I never caught that before, but yeah.
yeah, the cold bottle helps because the temperature differential, the warm bottle and the cold beer will
Break
make
out.
it gas off.
Yeah, break it.
Yeah, just when in doubt, overcarbonate. I mean,
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in your bottling. I mean, don't overcarbonate to the point where you have bottle bombs, but
Well, I'm gonna end up cheating and buy a meter to where I can see how carbonated I am anyway.
you can get them.
Now, if somebody already knows the beer is going to be undercarbonated, can they put one of those tablets? Is that would that help?
Is
You
that too
can't sanitize a tablet.
Okay, so it's not worth that off
You
flavors.
cannot sanitize a tablet. What is the first rule of home brewing?
Clean.
Cleanliness.
That's just
Yes.
that's just brewing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
That's
thought that was the
real.
first 5 rules of brewing.
That's
Yes.
essentially it is. Yes.
Clean, and clean some more.
That's right.
Whenever Julie wants to help me home, I always say, "All right, here's something to clean."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, probably 70% of your job is cleaning.
Yeah. Now I've had to delegate that.
Yeah. she has minions.
So a good portion of my job now is planning
Yes.
and organizing and making a list of the beers we're gonna make in the next 6 months to do labels and all that kind of stuff. Now we just hired our wonderful assistant brewer, so him and Max.
And his name is?
Max over there with Max and Ben do a lot of the day-to-day maintenance now on the brewery, which I'll be honest, sometimes the zen of scrubbing a tank, I do miss that sometimes.
Come on, my place.
Paperwork is not super pleasant.
Cody's like,
Yeah.
Come on over.
come on over, we got you.
Yeah, and when I
I've already
came
tried
over,
to get stuck in your kettle once. I'm not doing it again.
And there's pictures of that somewhere. I know there is.
and when I came over last time, Sydney was she misses the pizza truck a whole lot. So
Yeah,
so she
right
was-
now
she-
we're
she
down
was
a
out
cook.
there.
So if anybody wants to change careers and come cook pizza, shoot
I'm
me your
in.
application.
I'm in.
Now,
No, you got to stay open. I need someplace I can go buy my stuff.
Well, there you
do
go.
with this new pizza cook, are they going to be allowed to have free pizza? when they
Well, yeah,
work?
you have a free meal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you get paid and you get a free pizza.
yeah,
You get paid
yeah.
in chips.
Everyone that works for us gets a free meal during their
That's cool.
shift.
Nice.
Part of the perks.
And that comes with beer, right?
Yeah, everyone gets 2 beers at the end of their shift.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
So this one
Pizza
is an
and
IPA.
This is an IPA, and the specific category would be 21A, which is the American IPA.
So
Boom.
shouldn't have any sweetness.
It shouldn't.
Per the-
It's
Oh,
not a
okay.
hazy. It's
What is-
not.
Hop flavors medium to very high and should reflect an American or New World hop characters such as citrus, floral, pine, resinous, spicy, tropical, fruit, stone fruit, berry.
Okay, so
And what about flavor? The flavor
That
is?
was the flavor.
That was flavored.
No, that was aroma.
No,
Oh, what's
that
the
was
flavor?
flavor.
aroma
Okay.
is a
Alright.
prominent intense
So-
hop aroma. I don't know this. I don't know. this from memory, by the
21A
way.
is
I'm
just
reading it.
American.
Yeah.
The flavor specifics is hot flavor, medium to very high, medium high to very high bitterness. So I'm thinking, in general, this is going to be not the new age hazy or heavy East Coast tropical
West
IPAs. I think there may be tropical flavors, but I'd imagine with the medium to medium high, we're going more on that classic American IPA.
It's got a slight sweet nose. Sweet nose.
Yeah, a little bit of wordy,
Yeah.
sweet.
So Chris, Jess says you know all about the cheesiness with the beers.
Yes, I do know. I have brewed a cheesy beer before. With
Cheesy
just
toes, right?
just a little bit of like toe jam to balance it out. Yeah.
I was getting ready to take a sip, but now I don't know if I want to.
No, this is no. That was my attempt at a goza. It didn't goza so well. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple new people that hopping on.
So
Hello to Jason and
Oh.
to Chase.
There's not a lot of aroma.
There's
I'm
not a
gonna
lot
lie.
of hoppy aroma. No.
Actually, pretty good carbonation too.
Very, yeah. When we talked about carbonation, this one actually does have a nice carbonation.
Yeah.
Not overwhelming, not underwhelming. It's nice and bubbly.
It laces the glass well.
Good head retention.
It's not quite as clear as I'd like, but with hazy homebrews, I mean with hoppy homebrews, it's a lot harder to get
A
clear.
nice clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lupulin oils just don't want to come out.
Now, would cold crashing help with that, or is that why you're saying it's kind of hard for a home brewer to be able to do it because it can't cold crash?
Well, you can cold crash, but it's not going to drop out a lot of those hop oils.
Okay.
The
There's not a-
age basically is about the only thing you can do, and then if you age it, you lose some of that bitterness and aromas, and it's just typical homebrew. It's not a school, you don't knock it because
Right.
it's homebrew, but if
More like a West Coast.
yeah,
Oh, I can't believe the hop.
it's not quite as bitter as I was hoping it to be.
It's leaning towards a West
Yep.
Coast.
Sylvia's watching. Hey, Sylvia.
Oh, Sylvia.
Yeah, it's a
Leaning towards a West Coast. It's not as earthy or
Does it-
piney.
Do we know what the ABV on it
The
is?
ABV on this is 7.2%, so it does have that
Okay.
little bit of
That's
alcohol.
respectable.
Yeah, but it's not hot. It has a nice warming bit, but it doesn't have any of those fusel alcohols.
Yeah. So you've heard probably a couple times people talk about the fusel alcohols, and basically what that is that's a fermentation, a hot fermentation. Anytime you ferment at a warmer temperature than what the yeast want, or if you have a yeast that gets stressed out because it's up against a really high amount of sugar, you get fusel alcohols. Those are byproducts, and they typically happen within the first 3 days. The first 72 hours, you get that off of the yeast, and there's really no way to get rid of it other than age, and you really don't want to do that with like an IPA. So watching fermentation temperatures
Yeah, a little warty.
is pretty
Maybe on the
important.
flavor.
A little more caramelly. It could be some caramel malts, but it doesn't.
There's
Well, it's not that caramelly. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting just a little bit of sweet.
It has a nice. It's not as bitter as I'd expect in a West Coast, but it's. I'm more wanting a little bit more hop flavor
And aroma.
and aroma. So I'm thinking maybe they didn't dry hop enough to get that good punch of hops right at the end.
Which is a good rule of thumb is about an ounce per gallon for dry hop aroma.
Yeah.
You go more than that, and it'll really hit you. But I don't know, on big systems, how do you judge?
I mean, at least I calculate, I look at the alpha acid content of the hops, I look at the type of hop, what kind of flavors I'm trying to get. So if I'm blending different dry hops, So like El Dorado is very like sweet kind of hop flavors. It's like a stone fruity tropical, and then you blend that with like the Citra, which is more heavy on the citrus. So like depending on which one you want to be more on the forward side. I do have like a baseline of like hops on IPAs. In general, we dry hop twice to get that heavy big punch, and so it depends on if it's going to be the mid fermentation, it's going to be post fermentation. So there's lots of different rules there. I, off the top of my head, cannot tell you what we do as a general rule for IPAs, just because we've done a lot of, all of them are a little different, and then it also depends on the malt itself, because like if you want something that has more of that softer malt flavor, you're gonna have to balance that with the hops, and yeah, it really depends on each individual. But I think, yeah, the dry hopping is really important, and if whoops, beer foul, but it's okay.
It wasn't caught on camera. It's okay.
Darn.
Can you do that?
My biggest thing is if it's not there, add more, right? So you can always add more to a beer. You can't really take away. So if it's not right, just pump in some more, see what happens, and then go from there.
Yeah, someone's getting really excited about this competition.
It's okay. We have a mop. It's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
Probably
one
not the first
of the
or the
main
last.
things as a home brewer that I'm having to learn is to be patient with it.
Yeah.
Don't rush it. It's
No.
going to do what it's going to do, and go from there.
I mean, our schedule here at the brewery changes every single week because you're dealing with a live ingredient. So your yeast sometimes just goes and does what it wants. And then if it's not right, the beer, like sure, I'll have a plan. Oh, like for example, we have a green tea beer coming out soon. And we were about to keg it, and I tasted it, and I'm like, this isn't right. It doesn't have as much green tea as I'd want. So we nixed it. We're gonna do it another day, and we add that in to try and get it to where it needs to taste good, and where you want it as both the brewer and a consumer. So it needs to be approachable in both directions from my perspective. For a home brewer, you just brew it to what you want, or what you're trying to do, the competition, or something else like that. Yeah.
Yeah, when I drink a whole lot of this particular style of beer, I pee a lot.
More dad puns.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
I was gonna say, Josh isn't here. Someone's got to do it.
And the sad thing is the dad's not making the dad joke.
Yeah.
Just not that dad.
Just not.
And you might notice a little bit more noise. We did open our tap room up an hour earlier for those that wanted to come and watch the judging live. We also have, oh crap, what's their name? A cookie company that does like vegan big giant cookies coming in today. So those are really delicious. So they're setting up in the background.
I was wondering what that was.
And we have an open mic right here if you guys want to come up and say something.
I don't think they're gonna.
They're not
I don't think they can hear
I'm
us.
talking about the people listening. Yeah.
So that was the thing about home brewing that it's like it's the longest thing you have to wait to taste what it is, right? And to see where you're going. Like if you're baking a cake or you're baking something, it's relatively soon, you know what. But with like home brewing, okay, you do, and you got 5 gallons and whatever. But like which I would think would suck a numb, but then if you're like have a business and you've got these big batches, and then, or do you always do a small batch first?
No,
and then,
God no.
Okay.
Not always.
No, I don't ever do it. We had a pallet batch system, which we're still trying to sell because like we just don't
No,
use it.
so you just go for it. And
I have dumped
How big is it?
3.5 barrel system.
Oh,
It's a 15 gallon. Yeah, it's a 15 gallon. Hit me up. We've got fermenters, we got a glycol unit, we've got the whole brew house setup if you want it.
Yeah.
I'll give you like $500 for it.
I'm not the money person, so you gotta talk to Alex.
Good deterred there, yeah.
More beer. And it's a temperature controlled, no, it's a more beer. And it has temperature control, like set points. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I may have it sold.
Sweet.
I just had a guy come in
Looking for something?
looking for a 15-gallon system, and everything's out of stock.
Well, we got it. It's in my dad's garage.
Okay. All right.
There you go. So, but you just go for it. You just,
I was
that's how
going to
much
look, see
have
if
you
I had
dumped
his
out?
number.
Yeah.
How much-
We've
that's what
dumped-
if you do.
I don't think I do, though.
Okay.
I got his son.
We've dumped 2 batches, and that was in the
Okay.
first month of opening.
Okay.
Did
It's not that
you
much.
cry a little?
Well, I was stressed out. My dad was like, "Nah, just dump it. We're fine."
Yeah.
Because for us, if we make a beer that's not where it's not quality wise, not necessarily what I intended is, if it's something else and delicious, we'll still serve it and we'll name it something different. But if it's not quality, it's not worth serving.
Yeah.
So if it's not there, I'm gonna dump it. There's no hesitation.
Yeah.
Same with beer that ages out. If a beer ages out, take it off tap, dump the keg.
That's, yeah.
It's the same kind of concept, because the second you serve something that's sub quality, you lose the trust of your customers. You lose the trust, and then I'm picky.
Yeah. You want to put your best forward. But I think it's interesting, exactly what you just said. If you brew something and it comes out different than what you expected, you put a different name on it. So even that right there, you're
Yeah.
saying whatever
still good.
comes out
Yeah.
is what you do with it. Not you don't force it to be what you
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
I'm done with this guy. You want to start with the next beer, Ben? The next one, number 2. So, for example, I had put in an Imperial Stout in a tequila barrel with the intention of putting hot peppers to make it a hot spicy, like a spicy tequila inspired beer. When I tasted it, it turned out that the flavor that turned out with the barrel and the tequila and the caramelization, everything that kind of blended together, it actually lended more towards a sweet beer.
Oh.
So we just, instead of fighting with that,
Yeah.
you lean into it.
Yeah.
And we added coconut and chocolate, and that's the Cancun Common that we had. So a beer you can have the greatest intention for what it is going to be, but if you don't taste for what it is and work with that, then you're trying to fight against a system that's only going to cause you problems.
And you're not going to make anybody happy, because if you put it as something that it's not, people are going to be like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've actually had that happen to me already.
So
So this
Dumped
one is
one
a
and
double
changed
IPA.
Yeah, how much have you dumped?
I dumped 1 batch so far,
Yeah.
and then we reclassified another one.
So there you go. See, that's
Reclassify. That's a better way of doing it.
Reclassify. I like that. Yeah.
So this is a double IPA.
Yes, it is.
But
It's
But-
being judged on
29A.
they are judging it off of a 29A, which is
Another
fruit
fruit
beer.
beer.
And this is
Alright.
specifically fresh mangoes. They specified that as fresh mangoes. So yes, it is a double IPA, but they are having it judged in category 29A.
Depending on that. Okay.
now, I remember right when I first started doing the Liquid Lunch show, mango was like the flavor to have in a beer. And they're
It's-
like mangoes were like all the rage. I think that was like 2016.
I don't know what Jose's worried about, but he says you're going to take it.
I'm gonna take what?
I don't know. That's what Jose
It?
said.
I'm just gonna take it.
He says be careful because Kenny is just going to take it.
I mean, you can interpret that in like many different ways.
I'm a little
He's your
scared.
friend, so.
So,
I'm a little
Jose, Vila, what am I going to take? What is it?
A little sweet. And this is 8.5%.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Hanner.
What's up, Todd?
Todd, how's it going, man?
And we are, this is going to be over halfway. So we're halfway done.
I think we're going to be under the last year's 5-hour mark.
It's a little easier. We unfortunately weren't able to find as many judges as we have in the past, but I'm very blessed to have these wonderful judges here today. So I did think, though, having a little less judges will make the process move a little smoother. What is it? Too many butts in the kitchen? Can't get anything done.
Right. Well, Jose said you'd just take the brewing equipment.
Oh, yeah, because I stole the grain.
Yes,
grandfather.
that's right.
Yeah,
You did not steal it, you acquired it.
And then you paid for it.
Yes, I did. I 100% did.
Minor.
Sorry. Oh, live stream fell.
What are you doing?
It's called vibrate, man. What's up? That's how I knew. Vibrate.
And that's how we didn't know what you were doing. It's like, oh, where'd he go?
Hey.
Must have had a phone call.
Work.
Work.
So sweetness definitely is predominant on the nose. I don't get mango though.
What about fresh mango?
I don't. There's
Well,
no.
if he's not getting mango, I doubt he's getting fresh mango.
So, just in my initial taste, I would recommend this person to not put this in a fruit beer category.
Right. Double IPA.
If you put this in the double IPA category, I guarantee you would be doing a better on the score. I don't particularly get any mango in the taste or nose, unfortunately.
Well, probably because they spent the time putting the fruit in here. They want the notoriety of it being fruit in it. And they weren't ready to give up the fruit part.
And that's one of those things, choosing your categories.
Now,
And
honestly, as you guys definitely more refined palate than I do, if they wouldn't have said mango in this, would you have gotten mango out of
No.
this?
No.
none.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got a nice amber color.
Are you getting a little bit of paper? A little oxidization? Just a touch? It might be the hops, though. It might be that combo.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're not going in order.
Oh, gotcha.
We're well past our second beer.
Oh,
They're,
that's right.
they're trying to do it in order
No, maybe it was
of
just my
Yeah.
tongue.
Yeah.
So it'll taste
what
it
their
now.
palates would be able to handle. So
Yeah,
they didn't
no, that
start
I
off
totally
with something to wreck it, and then the rest of them were all just
No,
like,
I
okay, this is the-
1,000% get that. I
And
was
just
just thinking
saltine.
it was
I
like
don't
he
know.
was saying it was our. That's what I think. I was thinking. He
No,
forgot
you were
to
probably
update.
checking to make sure I
Yeah.
didn't type in something
Yeah.
wrong.
I don't get it now.
Yeah.
You don't typo.
Which is a legitimate concern. Yeah.
Well, I can't spell, so I can never catch your typos.
Maybe that's why I never catch it either.
Sometimes.
I thought I got lucky.
Hopefully
with
no
this one.
fail again. We'll see. The brewery number rings to my cell phone. So, happens.
This is
Somebody-
supposed to be a
Somebody called to see if you were open today.
Fruit beer.
fruit beer,
This is a fruit beer.
which is
29A.
29A.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not. This is the bitterness I wanted in the last one.
The one that said it was an
Yeah,
idea.
Now
that's
this-
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This one's
exactly.
coming in at
Even this, yeah.
8.5%.
I don't see that.
It's got the alcohol.
I don't feel it. Well,
It's warm.
No.
It's a little warm, but not
Yeah.
not boozy, but it's warm.
So, Sydney,
Yes.
obviously, a lot of these entries are not taking the base wort and just going with it, right?
No.
They are
Yeah.
adding to.
Yeah,
Adding
and so
to that.
that can be done with steeping grains. You can do a mini mash and then blend. I mean, there's
Right.
lots of different ways to adjust the wort that was given here. And that's so. This is the last beer before we start getting into dark beers.
Right.
For a lot of these things, like if you notice, the colors are even the light beers. They have a variety, and that's with the fruit or in other ways of adding different malt characteristics to the wort you already have. Yeah.
Grain is hydrolyphic, meaning it will suck in water and not sugar. So you could literally take the wort and add it to some more grain, at whatever temperature that you're trying to achieve, and you'll get more sugars out of it. The grain will not soak in water, it will only soak in the amount of water that's available to it. So you could literally take a beer that's a 6% beer, add more grain at a very specific temperature, and boost the amount of sugar that you have just by adding more grain. So the dark beers that we're about to get into, basically, they could have done that. They could have, like she said, just did another steep and then blend it, which I wouldn't recommend, mainly because you're adding more water to the batch, because everybody got 6 gallons.
6 gallons of wort that, with fermented out by an average yeast fermenter, would be around 5%.
So they started off with a 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
5% potential.
Right.
Like this double IPA
Yeah.
was how many ABV?
8.5%.
Yeah, so they definitely added some grain to it to get more.
So you're basically saying they took whatever they got from you and substitute what water they would have used with their
Yeah,
grain.
that's it.
Right.
So the saison was 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we
Which would
have
make
another,
sense.
there's an
And-
Imperial
yeah,
Stout that's
there's a
9.8.
bigger one.
Yeah.
That's probably, is that last? Yeah. No,
Of course.
It's not last. It's not last.
Todd, they had a total of 10 entries.
10? Oh, yeah, 10.
One of these looks really interesting.
This would have been a fantastic double IPA. This would have, choosing your category is key.
Happens
Yeah.
every
This
every
is-
watch,
and
every
I remember last year-
competition we have.
Every
one.
time.
Every
This-
time.
Right. This had, for me, it has to be
Mm-hmm.
scored on the lower end for a fruit beer.
Right. There's no fruit.
Yeah. So if this person decided to not put the 29A with a base of 22A, if they just did 22A, it would be high up there.
Yeah.
Right.
It would be,
But,
Definitely.
you know, we have to score with what you've chosen.
And I think I
Right.
remember this from last
Chosen.
year. There was a lot of people who wanted to do fruit beer entries that they would have been better off.
In other
not
things,
doing.
yeah.
When I entered the first Wort Share contest, and I tried to do a fruit beer, and had I not entered it as a fruit beer, I probably would have done a little better.
Yep.
Fruit is, it seems like an easy thing to add, and a lot of fruits are pretty easy. Like you can do fruit juice, you can do things like that. But as a general rule, dealing with fruit, especially if you're not able to get pasteurized fruit, where it's in like a liquid form, essentially like pureed fruit, where it's a lot easier to add to beer. When you're using frozen fruits and fresh fruits, it's challenging to get the actual flavor from the fruit into the beer itself.
Yeah, I tried to use fresh cactus fruit.
Yeah.
you ready for the next
Yes,
one?
we are ready for
Yes.
number 7.
There, yeah.
I'll never do that again.
Well, it's not always the fruited beers though, too. It's
I'm gonna take a potty break.
It's stouts and porters too. You know, but it does it every year. There's always at least one.
This next one's going to be interesting. Well, the way the color is just getting darker and
Oh,
darker
yeah.
as we go.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep getting fascinated on the fact that you're setting up your next slide. I keep staring at it.
Oh, he's typing.
It's just a
Yeah,
bunch
7.
of it's just a bunch of cutting and pasting.
So
I don't want to ask you,
7.
why didn't you already have that set up before now?
I mean,
But we didn't know.
if like if
So the
everyone
next
would
one is a porter.
Yeah, an American porter. So there is a little distinction between like an American porter and a robust porter, so flavor-wise. So this is 20A specifically.
20A.
Thank you. Nice head.
A lot of roasted note on that.
Some like burnt coffee.
A little bit of sweetness on the nose. With some crystal malts.
Trying to get some of those caramel, yeah.
Yeah, caramely. I would call that maybe a back note.
That's the kind of stuff I need to teach my brain how to pick out right away.
It's got a
Flavors.
I can even
Practice.
do it when they say it. Like, and then they'll say things, and I'm like, and I'm.
really pleasant red.
Yeah, it's like a ruby brown.
Yeah.
Explains why you don't
And
like
it's
Hefeweizen.
clear too.
Yeah, it's very clear.
Yeah.
I answered, even when they'll say something specific, I'm like, I don't get it.
I've actually ruined Hefeweizens for a few people because I was like, "Do you taste the banana?" Sorry, I should be talking.
Yeah. Right, no other flavors.
Not all Hefeweizens have that banana.
I know
though.
it's blueberry. Blueberry? No, bubble gum is the word I was looking for there.
I
You
like-
can manipulate it to get some kind of little bits of like spice and citrus sometimes, but it's you can't really do home brewing. It's a little harder because you have to have heavy temperature control.
I like the banana bombs.
That's what I prefer too.
It's on point.
Although I don't like the explosions.
I get a little bit of roasty note on the flavor. It's very pleasant.
I'm glad it's not too dry or too sweet.
Yeah, it's very well balanced.
Just get a nice. I get just a
Little
touch
warmth.
of sweet,
Yeah.
a touch of warm. And I thought I was going to get more coffee, but I'm not, which is kind of
It actually
enjoyable.
ends with like some dark
Yeah.
chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Like 85%,
Yep.
like bitter, but like I kind of enjoy this kind of chocolate. Like
Yeah,
I was expecting to have coffee,
Yeah.
but I didn't, which is I'm happy about.
Yeah, I like
But-
the dark chocolate note on it. It's pleasant. It's
it balances with that little bit of sweetness very nicely.
that one's on point.
And this is also a really good example of using what you're given. So because we had a light body to start with, yes, we will be judging the bodies a little different because we are only giving them a certain mash temperature. But you can also work with that. So porters do have a lighter body. So choosing to do something like that where you can still get those roasty flavors, that nice dark, palate, but choosing to use what you're given is also like a talent in itself.
That's true. That's a good point.
Now, what's the big difference between American porter and a robust porter?
And robust porters generally have a little bit more of that coffee flavor. So they're going to have a little bit more of that punch of that like black coffee, bitter intensity, where an American porter is going to have a little bit more subtlety to it, a little bit more softness compared between the two.
So this is kind of true to style.
Yeah, no, this is
Cody
this is
was
good.
saying that not so much coffee in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's enough, but it's not overbearing.
Right.
Right. Where sometimes when you're dealing with dark beers, someone will try and get that dark color with adding like black malt, and it'll get like a little too much, and then you're getting some of that burnt toast ends. That's not super pleasant. It can get a little extra astringent. So this is not that, right? They had a nice blend of that coffee, roast, chocolate sweetness from the caramel malts or whatever. Yeah.
So good
It wouldn't
job.
shock me if there's not chocolate malt in here.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Or
just-
carafa.
or
or
carafa.
carafa.
Carafa's got a nice chocolate note to it.
Yeah.
So
Or both.
Or
Good,
both.
good job there, contestant number 7.
Yeah. Very nice.
And howdy, Dean. Dean's watching now too.
Who?
Dean
Mr. Simpson,
James Dean?
James Dean.
Joseph Dean.
Joseph Dean?
I don't know why I went all redneck with that, but I did.
And then his cookies were pretty good.
Yeah, those cookies aren't keto.
I know.
And Sydney was just talking about the dark chocolate
Yeah.
and 85%
The
cocoa.
finish is clean too.
Well, I don't think this
I'm really
beer is
happy with
keto
it.
either, so.
It doesn't linger, doesn't
vegan,
coat the mouth,
so
so it
that's
sits
close
there for a
enough.
long
Yeah,
time.
that's how I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
2 ounce pours.
I think this is a really good example of an American porter, honestly.
Absolutely.
2 ounce pours.
How many carbs can there possibly be in a 2 ounce pour?
I know,
It's a
it doesn't
cheat
matter
day,
that
shut
there's
up.
32 ounce pours, right? That doesn't count.
Just go with it being a cheat day.
And our live audience is getting bigger. The Frugés are in the house.
This must be a good one. They're all writing a lot.
I know.
I know.
A lot for them to explain on each one.
Now, I see why you guys take notes, because you can't really remember. Maybe if I had like 2 or 3 beers,
Oh,
I
yeah.
could like remember which one's better, but
We're getting into 10.
yeah.
All right, well, okay.
Don't want to score it that high.
I mean, I'm on the higher end for sure. Yeah, yeah. We're in the same vibes. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell when you guys find one you like.
Yeah.
And then
Sorry.
it's like, not so good.
It's not that they weren't liking them,
Well,
it's just
I-
how they were
It's-
categorized is what.
Category, yeah, exactly, right. And that's the hardest part is like, you can be, oh, I dropped my cracker. You can
I'll
be
step
given
on it.
like a really good beer, but if you don't choose your category right, then it's not on us to recategorize it, right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
We gotta go with what you put.
Exactly.
Said it was this, and that's
All
what I
right.
judge it as.
4. Yeah.
Numero.
So number 4 is 20C,
Oh no!
and it is an
You just
Imperial
moved our-
Stout.
You just didn't do that.
I've been slowly
There's another
adjusting
bottle back
it as
there.
we go
I
anyways.
know.
I don't know what's going on. If
That's
the
for
camera's
later.
walking on us.
know.
or-
Yeah.
Oh, we got it.
Whosever beer this is, thank you.
Good job. Yeah, I
Yeah.
very much enjoy that.
I hope it's not.
Very tasty.
I figured I had to grab it before it got grabbed.
I'm sure there's more.
So an Imperial Stout is a stout is very similar to a porter, and because stouts generally have a thicker body, we will be taking that into account that they didn't have as much control over the body. So we may write a note that if you need more body or need less body, we'll write a note, but that won't be a detriment to your score. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I want to let that warm up a little and taste it. See where
So let's
it's at, if
see,
it warms up.
poured. Very nice. Look at
yeah.
that.
Oh wow.
And a great color
Look at
on the head,
that.
too.
Nice and tan.
Yeah. And he's pouring out of bombers.
Is there a difference between, like, is there a better, like, carbonation retention for the bigger bottles versus the small? I've never
the
really
volume,
adjusted,
absolutely. Volume makes a big difference.
yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
We've only ever done one size bottle here, so.
Yeah, that's a really nice creamy head. Expectations on that are high. Oh. I get bananas. No, bubblegum. There's bubblegum.
Oh, yeah.
Now, would that be considered an off flavor?
Yeah.
For this beer, yes.
All right. Maybe not so much if it was a heavy.
Yeah, for there are different flavors where Belgian styles, a lot of time you would expect a light bubble gum.
Right.
But there are things that you can find in some beers that are perfectly acceptable, and then in other styles it's not supposed to be there, so it is considered an off flavor. Even though it's not like foul tasting, it's
Right.
still an off flavor.
I can't get past the bubble gum. Is there a butter note?
Green apple.
It's green apple.
That's what I'm getting.
See, I'm blind to that flavor. Acetaldehyde. There,
All right,
every
so-
palate is
Yeah, why are
different.
you doing that? Yeah, what?
So
Warming
it's
it up.
intensifying the flavor inside the glass
And
so
holding
that you can
it.
smell it. Yeah.
Right. So we're releasing the nose while holding it in the glass. So when I take it off and shove my nose in it,
Or it's also way too cold.
Oh, I was wondering that too. What about the warm it up some?
Yeah.
Warm it up,
we're getting there.
I'm about to.
Because that does make a difference with the
Yeah.
style,
Yes.
right? Not all beers, but necessarily with the style.
So there are things you can do with to the water additions to limit the green apple flavor. Calcium chloride
I'm getting
and
this.
gypsum will help.
I get it on the nose.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah, I get what you guys are talking about. Butterscotch.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, there's banana too.
okay,
There's banana and green apple both.
okay. I got one. And I actually take that.
Yeah, so acetaldehyde, diacetyl, not getting DMS, but
The phenolics.
Preston's going fancy
Yeah.
hitting the left side of the score sheet.
Yeah. Like good or bad?
Either either. It just depends. Like they said, some of that stuff is stuff that you look for to be in the style of beer that you're
What's this?
the left side of the score sheet.
it's
There's
definitely
Oh.
dark. Its appearance is to style. Black is my soul.
Right.
Oh, okay. It's not as.
not really.
Yeah.
I was
It's
preparing
just on the
myself to
nose.
have a little bit more intensity, but it's
Dark, you can't see.
there's
anything.
flaws,
Yeah.
but it's not, punching me in the face.
Head retention's pleasant, and it's still a really nice color on the
Nice and
head.
tan.
Yeah. Although that's only 3 points. It's not a.
That's true.
I mean,
So this, if at the very end you can, when you're tasting this, what I was tasting before, to get that nice dark black color, I can taste that black malt right at the end. It's not bitter, but it's like that, like you burn your grilled cheese, right? So it's the bread is a little burnt, and it just kind of leaves a little aftertaste that kind of slicks the tongue.
bitiness.
Yeah, a little bit of that little right at the end.
Can't get past the
But
nose.
it's not necessarily a bad thing, though, right? I mean, because some people like.
It
Or it is. I guess it is.
It's not a great thing.
Okay.
You generally don't want a heavy burnt toast in any of your beers.
Okay.
It can be an associated flavor, right? So it can be blended with others, and it'll balance well.
Okay.
But if you're getting a heavy black malt,
Yeah.
then it's a little bit too much, and it's not really to style.
And it's not blending, and it's not. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because personally, I love burnt toast.
But in your beer,
But that's
right?
like,
In
I'm
your
like,
beer.
The flavor to me is good, but then
Yeah.
like I see what you're saying too. But where maybe there's a nip of it, but it's blended in with, and it's an underlining, not a focus or a predominance. Yeah. It's really cold too.
What was the ABV on this one?
This is 9.8, so it is on the higher end, which
This is-
it has warmth, but it doesn't have any of the
Surprisingly,
heavy
been the first
fusel
one I really
alcohols.
get the alcohol burn going down.
Oh,
The other
really?
one, it was a little higher.
See, I don't even really get a burn on it. I just get more of a warmth.
It's
And
a
again, it could be
building.
leftovers from the
warmth.
IPA that we had too, but that's just my bad.
Yeah,
on that
it's
one.
really. I
just-
don't.
it's just
get
a
much
real
booze.
warming-
I don't get busy at all, really.
Oh, it's
You
there,
don't? I
but
don't. See, God, I have no. I don't know, I think
but if you
broken.
just take a sip and then swallow and just kind of you'll feel it at the very back,
There's a
right your throat.
little burn to it.
Just feel it warm up like you're drinking bourbon or something.
And also, you haven't been trying to learn this
Yeah.
kind of stuff
That's
either.
true. That's
so-
true. I agree
And,
with
and I've seen you drink the whiskey.
I was gonna say.
That goes down real smooth.
Maybe I
so-
just don't know what I'm boozy. Yeah, boozy is just water to me.
Right.
Yes, and Todd, to answer your question, there are 10 entries.
We already
Yeah, we
answered that one
already
like a
answered
long
that.
time ago.
We did?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was late.
It's just, no, he just asked the question.
No, I know.
No, that
I
was-
know. He asked a while
Don't
ago.
worry. Jules and I are on it.
Yeah.
You're good.
I typed 9, and at the same time, Philip said 10. I was like, "Oop, that's right." And yeah, there's a whole segment about it.
We got it covered.
Okay. All right.
Well,
You got a lot going on there, man.
I did.
we got this. We got this.
Uh-huh.
You done with it?
Okay. So unfortunately, I do taste quite a few off flavors in this guy. I think managing your fermentation, your temp control, and choosing your yeast a little bit more wisely for the alcohol content and the style you're going for. And then looking at how you're trying to add that color. So black malt is a very hard malt, so you really shouldn't be putting more than like max 2% in my book.
Yeah, definitely.
At like, then that's like max. I generally do like 1% ish. If I'm trying to get that dark color, there are other malts that will give you that dark color without that black malt flavor.
Yeah. Roasted not that one. Mine. Not that one. Mine.
We're not done yet. We're still working on it.
So roasted barley is a really good to add into stouts because that'll give you that coffee note. You could also look at barleys that are hulled, like carafas are de-hulled, which means a lot of that bitterness is removed. One of the things during the roasting process on the darker malts, the hull retains a lot of that acidity, and if you remove the hull, like in your carafas or even some of the dark wheats are really good for
Chocolate
adding.
wheat.
Yes,
I love chocolate wheat.
adding those in will help with that color and not add that bitey note that you typically see in like the black patent or that kind of thing. So there's definitely a choice of malts that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Do you carry the chocolate wheat?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have
Use that the next time I do my milk
I've got
stout.
5 different chocolates at the store. Absolutely.
My two favorite are chocolate wheat and chocolate rye. Chocolate rye give this wonderful little bit of spiciness
Yes.
that just adds, and that's
Yes.
one of my, I put that in most of my dark beers just because that, even at different levels, but just a little bit, it helps balance and give it more texture, the beer itself. Because sometimes dark beers, like people are like, oh, I don't like dark beers, they're either like bitter or too, roasty. But like a lot of dark beers, what you can do is do a mixture of those dark malts and get a really nice like full blending story in your beer itself. Yeah.
I'd like to talk about the body real quick. It was not full bodied like you typically see in a stout. It was very light in body, which understandably you're getting what you get. However, you could add lactose or maltodextrin or even brewer's crystals. That's one of my newest
Okay.
things
I've never even heard of
seen.
that.
It adds body and mouthfeel and a little bit of alcohol, and at the same time not removing any of the unfermentable sugars. So you still get some of the lactose body or the maltodextrin body without all of that extra flavor. So,
Okay. That's
So-
sweet. Good to know.
Interesting.
And Nick
Yeah.
agrees about putting chocolate wheat. I'm not going to read exactly what he put on there, but he agrees that it's good to be in there.
Yeah, I love chocolate wheat. It's a good malt. And then my favorite for and this might just be me. To give more like texture and kind of not creativity, depth to a dark beer. Doing a good mixture of those dark malts. One of my favorite to add just even like a little bit, just to give a little background note, is Special B malt. It just adds this nice little like depth, like caramel, like burnt date flavors that just a tiny bit, right? Just a little bit, even if you're not trying to make it like a heavy like sweet beer, but just a little bit helps kind of balance out some of those roasty, harsh flavors sometimes, and it turns out absolutely amazing.
Yeah, crystals are really, they add a lot of depth to a beer. So, like when you start off with like a Crystal 10, right? And well, so first of all, you should know crystals are a range. There is no Crystal 10, there is no Crystal 15, there is no Crystal 30.
Yeah.
It's a range. But when you start off with like a Crystal 10, you just get sweetness.
Yeah.
When you start getting into the 60s, you start getting a little bit of a raisin note. So those are really good for like English beers or even like Belgians and things like that. And then when you get into the 100s, 120s, you start getting those dates and plums, which really go well with a dark beer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like the way I like to describe a lot of caramel malts is that the lower end, like if you've ever caramelized something or like made caramel, you can actually see the whole process of like, imagine it in your head, the lower end is like just caramelized. So it's going to be heavy sweet, heavy sugar, easily fermentable, like really just going to give you a lot of that really intense sweetness. And then as you caramelize something, it gets darker, the color becomes a little bit more robust and more coffee flavor, like looking, and it becomes more intense. So that's when you're looking at those caramel malts, just imagining that caramelization process can kind of help you form your recipe on like what flavor am I trying to get just sweetness? Am I trying to get like depth of raisiny, stone fruit, dates, things like that? That's when you go on a later side. If you want to have like a medium caramel, like 30 and 40, like things like that, there's a lot of different flavors you can get in there, and even in a combination of them. So if you're trying to get layers of caramel, you can add a little bit of 20 and a little bit of 60 or 80, right? So there's different levels of adding the types of caramel and the types of flavors you really want to add to the end product of your beer. We've got 2 beers left.
That is some late. That's like
Yeah,
a lot
sorry, I just
of
like
that.
No, this is
But
fine.
ranted.
It's interesting that
No,
that
it's-
seems like almost more.
I would think that you guys would agree to that. Yeah,
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 absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My whole goal is do the best you can do with as few malt as possible.
Yeah, simple
Yeah.
is good.
Simple
But-
is good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 and 120 are totally different.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're gonna get 2 different things from
Yeah.
60 and 120, and biscuit and Special B, which is, I agree, is a fantastic malt.
Victory is also a really good
Victory's
one too.
great.
Yeah.
Nice biscuity.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Absolutely.
That's if you want to add like more malt characteristics for like lighter beers. I'll add Victory. Where if you still want it to be light, but you want a little bit more malt complexity, Victory is a really nice one to add.
Yeah, it'll add. I mean, in small doses, you'll get breadiness. You'll get a little bit of a roasted in larger quantities. It's
So let me specify what this beer is. This is a brown ale by 30A, but he also put a note that it's carrot cake.
Oh.
So I don't know.
So I noticed 30A.
So it's a spice beer.
So
beer.
it's a spice beer.
Okay.
And 30A
So it's
is
30.
supposed to be a brown ale.
No.
Brown. Well, 30A is a spice beer. That is also a brown ale.
Okay, so it's a spiced beer.
So it's a spice beer.
Now,
Oh, I just.
we've kind of, there he goes. We've kind of neglected something here.
Yes.
We've had somebody been bringing our beers all day long. And,
Oh.
and
running from the camera.
he hasn't, we haven't like addressed him at all. So
Hey guys.
say hi, Dan.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hopefully everybody's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Or
And who are you?
I'm Ben, also Sydney's husband.
And a brewer
And
here.
And,
And yeah, so hope you guys are all enjoying this. Hopefully everybody's getting some good notes
I don't know, I haven't
back from
smelled it yet.
everybody.
No, is that what?
Carrot cake. Yes.
Hopefully we see you guys out here today, and then maybe down in Montrose when we get that location.
Really?
open as
Oh,
well.
absolutely, yeah.
So
I
What's that
gotta-
address again?
it's 1312 West Alabama.
Oh, I thought you were about
The
to
old
ask
good
our
dog.
address. I was
Yeah.
like, why
that's
do
the
they
old-
need that?
You know that place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most
yeah.
everybody does. So yeah, so just
we've-
go there.
We've
And,
been
yeah.
working night and day trying to get that place ready. So hopefully
yes.
we'll see you guys out there.
Every day we're there, I think there's like 4 or 5 different types of tradesmen trying to get that
Yeah.
place ready.
Awesome.
Good luck to everybody as well.
Aw.
All right, let's see if I can get that.
I know it's cool. I feel like I need
I still got the coffee note from the last stout. I had to cleanse my
No.
palate, man.
Dude,
Maybe
Oh,
some
yeah.
spice.
You got crackers?
It's nutmeg and cinnamon and it's carrot cake.
Is it? I'm like,
Interesting.
This
It has a tinge of like tartness on the
Yep.
nose, though.
this shot I've been having all night long with the beers. Looks like all the beers are mic'd.
oh.
Like it's got a mic. Like the beer wants to speak to us.
Like it's on stage and it's going to say something.
I've been trying to keep it that way.
And it's saying, hey, Kate. Kate just joined us live. She's watching too. Hey, Kate. Oh, by the way, I think we're going to meet up with Mike and Kate later after your suit today.
My suit.
Yeah, after trying
mean
on
my
your
tuxedo?
suit. Yes, your tuxedo. Sorry. Yeah. So we're going to be meeting up with them. Oh, and Southern Yankee Craft House just joined us too. Hi.
Oh, the guys might be watching us.
Because I was like, how am I there?
So my dad and Alex are actually at the craft house
Yes.
doing some work, so they might be on that page watching this page.
That's awesome. I love it. That's how you go down a rabbit hole.
No, I think they're correcting me saying that it's going to be Southern Yankee Craft House, but they're on the beer company page.
Beer company page, but yeah.
Well, there's a Southern Yankee Craft House page
Page, yeah.
that is that is the restaurant name. So it is associated with us, but it will be a different entity
Altogether.
by itself.
All right. So
Which I am super excited.
as I'm reading over the style here, it
Yes.
says for the flavor, as with the aroma, the distinctive flavor should be associated with the SHV.
What am
Spice
I?
herb,
There you go.
vegetable. Okay. Never mind. Alright. And I said
Is it
herb,
cinnamon
not
on the
I was
nose?
going to say,
There's cinnamon.
What does herb have to do with it?
There is a nice
He's just
spice
doing
on
his
the
job.
nose. It's a little bit of tartness on the nose, though, and on the taste.
I'm getting the tart.
Yeah. Which I don't.
Spice is hard to do. It can turn that way pretty easily.
Yes.
The biggest, you see that a lot with like Dunkin' beers,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like
Yeah. Then they just cover it up with more cinnamon.
that. Yeah. Cinnamon and vanilla.
And it's not. It's pretty,
But it
it's
seems
pretty
like
clear.
it's in its perfect category, right? I mean,
It is in a
Yeah.
spice category, yes.
Yeah.
Good choice. 'Cause
Yeah.
if this was in a brown ale,
Exactly. It didn't.
It would not
it
score well.
would not score well.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, yeah.
So Jose wants to know, is the Craft House by the
Vanille.
Manil?
Yes, it's like a couple streets
Yeah.
over. It's right across the street from the St. Thomas University.
Yeah.
The Manil.
Yeah.
Manila.
Never heard of it.
Museum.
I have to avoid downtown if I don't have to go.
I know, but it's
It's a free museum.
beautiful museum. It's the better. It's a great museum.
Yeah.
I like it all.
Do I have to pay to park?
No.
No, actually, it's got a better parking than.
It's also over by the what's it, the cathedral?
Rothko.
The Rothko,
The Rothko Chapel.
Yeah.
That's free too, and it's very cool. Easy
The
parking.
sad thing is I've lived in Houston all my life, and I think you know the place
Was
better than I
Hayes
do.
part of the
That is pretty sad. That is pretty sad. But
I
Rothko, and it's
don't
funny,
believe
because
so.
I-
Brown ale
I
is
had somebody-
typically
my boss's
doesn't
friend is
have to
married
be
Houston, and
clear.
She was like, "Do you have anything
No,
to recommend?"
it
And I was
can
like,
have some
the Manil and the
opaqueness.
Rothko.
I mean, it's actually pretty
And same
clear.
of course. And the
ish.
For
size.
what it is. I can see the bottom of the
Yeah.
glass.
Yeah, you can see the bottom.
What?
Seeing through it though, no. But
The
that's
size?
Through it, but yeah,
They're
you
not
can
tearing
see
those down.
Yeah, I think they're
Like, it's
getting
not
ready to tear it
opaque.
down.
And it's
No.
the creamy
If it's
head.
what I'm thinking of,
is
yeah.
At the market,
silos?
like the
Like by
silos?
See,
Holland?
Kind of on the
mine-
fence with it.
Buffalo
I'm
Bible?
Off of 10?
like I can't.
Kind of, yeah. 10.
Oops.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready to tear 'em
Last
down.
one I spill.
Like right off, kind of like
Yours was the
Washington
first
area.
one
Yeah, yours
Give me
was
the
first
line.
one.
that was poured
I know that
as
they're
well.
supposed to be tearing down some
Because just
silos.
one-
at
because-
So there is
because
a
I-10
little
is a very long road.
lingering.
Well, that's right. And
I
there's a
know.
lot of silos. Old rice
Yes.
silos.
Like,
I
mean,
wonder.
You can go to Katy and you can see silos from
Well, that's where I know
I-10
it
to
is.
Katy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They can tear those silos down. That's fine.
that's part of their logo, I believe.
Yeah. But it's not really on their property, is it?
I think it is.
I think it is part of their property.
But ooh, I hope not. That's like a big. Well, there's they need an apartment complex.
We're gonna be driving down a lot of I-10 today.
Yeah, that's where the wedding.
I
is
think
going.
the cinnamon is really kind of overtaking.
In the Washington.
If it was backed up just a little bit, I think the brown ale would come through
Yeah, not-
a little
Not
more.
that far out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
But downtown.
maltiness
You guys-
of it,
You know what you mean?
but it's not. I mean,
That's
it's
supposed to.
No, but you might want to. You don't want to
It's
drive
got-
back on that.
It's got some good
One you guys
sweetness
have
to
to
it.
say.
It's got a.
When do you guys
It's fine.
They did.
have to stay sober enough?
Oh,
I think it's just a little
They are
unbalanced.
RSVP.
that's
I think
probably the
we-
best word
we are
for it.
planning
It's a little
We have a
unbalanced.
side comment.
do- the tartness is
too,
weird, though.
Where, yes,
I don't know
Kate,
where I'm-
Kennedy cut his hair. Can you believe it?
What
Look
now?
at
The
that.
tartness.
And we need to
Green
give
Yeah.
a shout
It's
out
a
to
little-
the, I would say hair.
little green
See, I'm not getting green apple. I'm just getting, like I said, just a little bit of tart,
Where are you seeing that?
which
at?
isn't
Must be on a
unpleasant. It
different
just
page.
doesn't.
I
Back of the
have,
town.
It shouldn't be.
I get
I don't
I
think it should be
have
there.
sold out
Yeah.
to the man.
So I'm not losing my mind.
So I think as a conversation, we're just talking about this one. I think it's not a bad brown ale or a bad spice beer. I think it's just unbalanced. It has what we were saying is a little bit too much cinnamon. It kind of overtakes the other flavors that are there. There is some nice sweetness to it for like a brown ale, but it's not punching through the rest of the flavors. So it's not blended well as an overall. Like it doesn't. You said there was a little bit of acetaldehyde. Unfortunately, I'm blind to that flavor, so I can't help you there. But
That's what I'm picking up as the.
yeah, so we got two people that say that
Well,
that's
I'm
there.
not getting it on this one.
Oh, okay.
So that means it's very low.
Yeah, so it's on the lower side.
Where the cinnamon's
So
covering it up. for me.
nothing that's like
cinnamon's covering it.
super
Really.
major. I just think that it's unbalanced.
And to be honest, for carrot cake, I didn't get any cream cheese icing.
And if I'm looking at it as a
Thank
spice
goodness.
beer, then I would say even that. But I don't really get carrot cake from it. I think it's a nice like
Cinnamon,
spice is
yeah.
cinnamony, yes. But
But-
yeah.
But since it's it's in the spice
Okay,
beer
I just got the green
category.
apple.
The fact,
It
that
warmed
it
up
doesn't,
enough.
the fact that it doesn't taste like carrot cake doesn't really take away from it.
No, it
Because
doesn't.
it's
It's
in
just
the-
the
it's in the
note
correct
that
category.
it says carrot cake for future reference.
Yeah.
I don't really get specifically carrot cake or that kind of blend of things. So there's not a lot of raisiny characters. Like I like character that has raisins in it. So carrot cake generally has raisins. So like maybe adding some of those darker caramel
Yeah,
or maybe some special bee to get that raisiny characteristic
must be
with
a
the
northern- that must
cinnamon.
be a northern
I think that
thing.
would be
No, it is not.
nice.
Carrot cake with raisins?
Yeah.
Really? I've not had
Oh
that either.
yes, absolutely.
I think it's a Florida.
Where did you
What are you
Where did you
talking
find a carrot
about?
cake without raisins?
I've never had a carrot cake with raisins.
You must
I
have
mean,
never
I've
had
had
carrot
it
cake.
with,
Trust
but
me,
not often.
It's like my
I
birthday
love
cake.
Get out of here,
love
man.
carrot
With
cake.
raisins?
Yes.
Interesting.
I've never had one without
And like
raisins.
pecans
I've actually
inside.
Yeah, I've had
Yeah.
pecans.
Because I actually make carrot
Unfortunately,
cake
it's all
and I
had
look
the
up
pecans in
recipes
it.
and never
I'm not a
found
big
one.
Yeah.
pecan flavor guy.
And like
Maybe
the,
it's a Florida thing. We don't do raisins. I don't know. I'm with you though, Kennedy. I think we're the oddballs.
I was gonna do the whole beer or beans and chili thing, but no, I'm not gonna go there.
Oh yeah.
Not gonna go
it's
there.
not chili without beans.
Yes. Agreed.
I agree.
I agree.
Everybody makes fun of me, and I was like, dude, I grew up
Gotta have
poor.
chili.
I grew up poor. We had to throw beans in there to make it go further.
Right,
So,
exactly. Well, that's what I thought the whole thing with chili was with beans.
no, a lot of Southerners want to say that the beans come from the up north people.
What is
making
it?
so.
Just meat? That's not chili. That's just the spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, it's meat soup. But
Okay. Yeah, so for a spice beer, I think this is like it's okay.
I think if the cinnamon was reduced a little bit
Yeah.
and it had like some vanilla in it
To add that
would-
creaminess
that
or
would
like
add-
body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I
And
could
more
see
carrot cake.
Yes.
Or getting those darker malts,
Yeah.
or even adding maybe some roasted pecans, or like getting that nutty flavor. Where some malts you can get that little bit more nuttier malt, and that really is getting your malt bill to balance what you're trying to do at the end of the beer. So you can also add spices and nuts and everything on that, but malt is amazing, and you can do a lot of things with it.
Yes.
All right, I think we are ready for the last one, guys. Yes.
I thought that was the last one.
No, we got one more.
Uno
We have
mas.
a cherry chocolate porter that is in category 29, so fruit beer.
Oh, so a
Yes,
fruit beer.
thank you. It is a fruit beer, but it is specifically a cherry chocolate porter. I'm really impressed this year. Like we've gotten some really solid beers, like good mixture. Like a couple years ago, we had like the first time we had a few people that needed to work out some off flavor kinks. This year, we've had like some really good, just like good styles, like good mixture of stuff. Like pretty damn good. Oh, can I say damn? I already said it.
Of course.
It's
already
on,
happened
It's
now.
on your Facebook page. You can say whatever you want to say.
There you go.
drop whatever
All right,
bomb
let's
you
see how
want.
this pours. Okay,
Oh,
no head retention, no head.
Oh no.
Oh, is it?
It's trying.
Hang on, that's the first one. Remember, I had the same one last time.
Yeah. Well, yours had the last time it did have the head. It just didn't last.
And
This
one is
just
a
doesn't
cherry
pour.
chocolate porter.
Cherry chocolate, yeah.
So it's a fruited beer.
Yes, but it is 29, so fruit beer. So this, I would expect if you're putting in a fruit
Sure.
beer, we need that cherry to come out. If
Cherry's
there's no
gotta be
cherry,
Cherry's got to
There's
be
no
there.
fruit beer.
can't really do anything with that, yeah.
I'm gonna try to bias y'all with what I'm seeing already, but
Let's warm it up a little bit, maybe. Put some. Trying to get
I'm
that.
on camera. Sorry, I apologize.
Uh-oh.
I had the bad face. I'm
Oh, are
like,
you making a face?
oh Lord.
rewind it.
No.
Hold on. I got the delay.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
We'll fix it in post.
Oh Lord.
Fix it in post. Oh boy.
Classic.
You're live streaming though. How
We need
you?
bloopers. Is there bloopers? or
Blooper reel.
Yeah.
That was total blooper reel. I apologize. Whose ever beer this
You
is?
did that on
I love
purpose,
you,
didn't
man.
you?
I'm not getting a lot of fruit on the nose. I get some roast. Get some dark chocolate.
This is supposed to be a porter.
This is a cherry chocolate porter in
it's a
fruit
fruited
beer,
beer category.
Correct. So it's not a porter.
It's a fruit beer.
It's a fruit beer.
It's a fruit beer.
There again. Had you told me at a porter.
it may have been judged a little differently. And that's, again, the talent of picking your category.
No cherry on the nose. Warm it up
I definitely use tart cherries.
on the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's really cold.
It's a little too cold.
Yeah.
And it's carbonated nicely though, it looks appears, but I haven't tasted it yet.
Yeah.
Warming it up, it's kind of coming alive.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
It's getting there.
What?
He's laughing at me.
Rusty.
'Cause I was trying to
very
keep it warm and smelling it at the same
She's doing
time.
the.
Yeah.
I was trying to warm
Black
it
malt.
up, but I wanted to smell it at the same time. So I thought I was being all hoity over here, you know. Act like I know what I'm doing.
No, that's how you learn.
I wonder what did you bring me? Will that work with this one too? Okay, I didn't really do it with the non-dark beers because you don't necessarily need to.
They may not have been getting the smells from it that they thought they should have been.
Yeah.
Or they were getting them with the lighter
Or
beer.
they were gonna, yeah, and maybe it's harder with the dark ones.
Could be because of how cold they are.
Yeah.
Tart. So it could be from tart cherries, right? So that tart cherries, it is on that tart side. There's a lot of black malt, a lot of roastiness, a little acrid, I might say, like a little malt, black malt acridness.
Would that be tannins from the black malts or?
I don't know that specific answer, honestly.
Is it tannins of cherry?
That generally, I associate that flavor with like that burnt toast, that black malt,
Okay.
where it's
Tannins-
like too much.
Tannins typically on the sides of the mouth,
Okay.
along the sides of the tongue. So think of like a really big Merlot or
That's
a
what I was gonna say, 'cause
Cab.
of that wine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's on the sides of the tongue, and it can be puckering in large amounts. Whiskeys that have been aged on wood too long can be very harsh on the sides of the tongue. So that's tannins from the wood, but
Okay.
that's typically tannins in a beer is really rare. You really have to push hard to get tannins in a beer.
And how would you do that? With what?
In
Like,
mass
with the
amounts.
fruit?
Temperatures.
In massive amounts.
Oh, with temperature.
In
temperatures.
homebrewing. In homebrewing, like heavy homebrewing.
Yeah. What's that?
He was doing a phase layer. It's like really hard. Like it's not. I mean, if you like over sparge, a lot of times you can get some of those heavy tannins and things. But like you'd have to like forget you're brewing
Yeah.
a lot of times.
It's hard. You see it most on new brewers.
Yeah.
That's where you see it most because
Oversparging and
oversparging and sparging with too hot a water, that kind of thing. Would you agree?
Yes. So on just general roundabout for this, I wouldn't put this in a fruit category. I don't get a lot of cherry. Unfortunately, I don't get a crazy amount of chocolate. There's a little bit of dark chocolate, but it gets kind of taken over with that black malt, that roastiness. So I would probably, first solution would take the beer that you have here and then put it in a different category. And that's just for judging. And then for brewing in itself, I would look at your malt bill. And again, just like earlier we were talking about like blending your darker malts to try and get that darker flavor and color, instead of just going straight to that black malt or that, black Prince, things that are like really intense and give you that 500 SRM really quickly. So I think the tartness comes from that tart cherry. It's not like funky tart. It's like fruity tart.
Yeah.
to me, at least.
Yeah, I don't think it's a
Just
fermentation.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a fermentation tart.
Just the tart and the roast going together is
It's
just
it's a
They-
lot.
it's a
They
lot.
conflict. They really do. They
That's-
conflict a little bit.
That's fair. It's a lot.
Judging question here. If say somebody were to brew a beer and they put fruit in it, but it didn't really come out really fruity at all, but there's enough fruit that you can like kind of barely taste it.
Yeah.
And if you enter that into like a category that wasn't fruit, would you lose points or something like
No,
that?
not necessarily.
Call it
No.
a cherry porter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a good porter
So you
with
can-
cherries,
Okay.
right. So that if the beer is so like if that think of it as a scale, right? So this is porter and this is fruit beer.
Yeah.
And the beer itself is more leaning towards the porter,
Yeah.
put it in the porter category.
See?
If it has heavy fruit, put it in the fruit category. But it really just depends.
So like cherry porter and just a hint of cherries, you enter it into a porter
Right.
category. You're not going to lose points because
No.
it has the hint of cherries.
Because you can say it's a porter with cherries.
Ah,
You're
Yeah.
just calling it a porter instead
Yeah.
of a fruited beer.
all right.
I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
there are cream ales that win in lager categories all the time.
Really?
It's an ale.
That's right.
Oh.
Right? It does. It's not actually a lager,
Yeah.
but it hits the category, right? So it's playing the game of judging and the game of the competition while
Okay.
also the beer itself.
So one thing I've learned today was that if you're on the fence whether it needs to be put in the fruit or another category, always enter it into the other category. Err on the side of caution.
Well, and
I would
Or
probably
enter it
go
into
with that.
both and-
Or enter it into both if in a professional
It's a
competition.
numbers game.
Exactly. That's really what you do is put it in a boat. Yeah.
And
it's not always just
that-
fruited though. It's not always, it's some with the stouts too. People put it in as a stout, but it's not necessarily, it's a porter type thing. So it's just, you got to remember what you intended on doing and what it came out as is just like we,
So there's that, and the other thing I've taken away is over-carbonating your beers.
Yes.
For the second year in a row.
3 years. I'm sure it was probably the first one.
I overcarbonate at the brewery because I lose some going into kegs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that is all the beers we have today. So if we want to, how did we do this last year? We picked out our top three and then compared, and we can taste them again. And if we have if we have a tie or anything else like that, we will taste that one as well.
Right.
We want to just put them in score order.
Yeah. Pick
Yeah,
out
that
your
works.
top three.
Yeah.
Pick out your top,
Your top three, yeah.
So this is
Curious.
this is the moment of anticipation.
I know.
This is when they're collaborating.
And then we will taste all three of these at the same time? Yeah.
Are you doing it at the same time?
Yeah.
I'm totally screwed because I have my third place is not. I have four of the same score.
This.
How does
That's
that
fine.
work?
Well, we can look at it. Yeah, just pick out the four.
Ooh,
And then if one of us has
part that
one of
really
those as
matters.
well, then we'll...
This is it.
ooh, you got a tie.
Say again, top four?
This
So
is it.
top three, but he has top four because there's ties.
Okay.
That's kind of good to know that. Interesting.
So if there's one that we have, but he has, and the other one doesn't, then we'll nix that one and go to the one that we
Yeah.
also have.
I'll do it now.
Okay.
All right, and then he's still counting. So I've got these three. So 3, 7, 6.
Website. Kind of start typing in like the top three.
That's the top. Yeah.
I'll enter it
And-
as like.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Jose's picking on you again.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So those are all
You're
the
kidding.
32s.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens.
What is
And
Wants
then
to
what
know
was
what
you had?
landscape company cut your hair.
I had
7. So
8.
3 and 7, right?
What's wrong with my hair?
3 and 7. Okay. So I've got 6.
It's not long anymore. That's one problem. But hey,
That. Okay.
But
And we'll see what his
I
are.
guarantee
when he
he's
was
got
growing it out, it's like
I think
now
those are
everybody
far
wants it.
I think that's
see.
pretty clear on those two.
who gave you grief? Other than Josh.
No one's. Jose,
So,
you're the
number
only one
6.
that's
Hang on, number
7,
6.
3, and 6.
about my hair.
Okay, so I have
We got
7, 3, and 6 as
So
well.
where's my
You
6?
can.
There it is. Oh, I scored it 31.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
it
going
was
blind.
bad. It was bad.
I'm blind. I'm blind.
That's why I was wearing a hat.
Kenny, be nice.
I beat it up here.
No, I polished it on
What
purpose.
now?
This is 22.
What kind of polish do you have up there?
Carnauba
Okay,
wax.
so
All right.
2, yeah.
All right.
I use Carnauba.
Okay.
Okay,
So what do we got?
so 3, 7, and 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
So the
you gotta
top
do it on
3,
Southern Yankee.
are we going to announce?
I'm on their page. I'm
Yeah.
how to post.
Just do it on the street.
Yes.
Okay, so our top 3 that we're going to now retry and discuss are going to be entry number 3, entry number 6, and entry number 7. Entry number 3 is the Saison.
Yes.
Entry number 6 is the blonde ale fruit beer with pineapple, orange, and sea salt.
Right.
And 7 is the American porter.
Yes. Okay.
3, 6, and 7.
Yes,
All right. So.
we're ready.
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
eat my cracker. Do we have any other questions or anything?
Let's see. Questions. Any questions?
No, nothing of importance.
No. There.
I'm going to run the restroom.
Apparently, everyone's in a big uproar because I cut my hair.
Everybody's all,
Nobody say
said
anything
about
because
this?
it looks like, Preston
mean,
cut his.
I cut. Look at that. Nice,
Yeah, look.
clean shaven Preston, and no one
didn't
cares
even
about that.
recognize it. Well, no, that's the thing. Nobody recognized
Nobody knew.
it.
Yeah, nobody knew me.
I've been
That's,
putting up.
that's true, because honestly, as long as I've known you, you've always had a goatee,
I've
at
been,
least.
I've been putting up your name. No, maybe they thought I was lying.
Jose wants to know what's their rotation, how often they come to take a whack at that hair.
We take the
So
rotation of my hair.
after we
Yeah,
taste
it's
a long
these
supposed to
company.
be every 3 to 4 weeks
Oh.
for a haircut,
for a haircut.
really?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
how
cut
long
my
do you-
hair when I get antsy.
Yeah.
That's generally what
Well, that's-
But
happens.
that's the
No.
women.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Women are totally different.
No,
That's- that's
when
all.
I had long hair, it was like every 6 months.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
6 months. No, barely. It was like every year. I tried to get.
Don't be
you-
gentle.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3.
I trim this about once a month.
So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna retry these, look at our notes, and then each one of us is gonna rate 1 through 3, and I'm gonna write it down, and then the person that has the lowest score is the first, second, and third for these categories.
Yes, but as we all know, second place and third place are both losers.
You know you're
No!
fired, right?
Second loser and third. There can be only one winner.
And this is the what is this?
That is 6.
This is
What number was that one? Quarter.
That's 7.
This is 7. Okay.
I
So,
mean,
and then we need 6.
You what?
7 and 6.
So
3.
6, 7, 3, right?
No, that's
No,
he's
3
This
is
four
is
and
first.
3.
six.
That's a 3. Okay.
Yeah. This is 6. This is the kettle side, right?
There we go.
Yeah, the one he's doing now is 6.
Okay.
6. So I poured them just like you called them off. 3, 6.
3, 7, and
Yeah,
6.
perfect.
Okay.
Word's perfect. Thank you, thank you.
Alrighty. So, 3, 7, and 6.
3, 7, 6.
So, yes. Perfect.
Scoring
So,
them or just.
this is more kind of a discussion
Okay.
on the merits and the qualities of all. So I would say maybe take a couple minutes just re-drinking them, kind of picking out some of the things that like stand out to you, and or in the bad, good could be worked on, all of that.
So I guess in a way, this part would be like the best in show.
Ooh, that's interesting. I just got cheese
Which one?
off of the Kettle sour. I got
Well, it's not a sour. It's a blonde
the
ale.
blonde ale. I just got cheese off of it. Like big time.
Type of cheese.
Is there another bottle?
Yes. Ben, can you pour from the third bottle of the blonde ale?
6.
The
Do
6?
we have any more of that?
6. So no. So I got
the
like a
last
little.
That was the last
We went
one.
through 2 bottles?
Yeah, because
Oh.
Everybody.
Yes. It's our fault. It's our fault.
You just
Okay.
want to see it. I mean, I got
I don't get.
a touch left.
it was all like a cheddar, like a buttery cheddar.
I could see. So that's kind of what I would associate that with that papaya flavor.
But this isn't papaya.
No. Yeah, it is.
That was the Kettle
This
sour.
number 6
Number 6 was
is the.
Pineapple
Oh, it's
orange.
not papaya. It's
Pineapple
pineapple and
orange.
orange.
pineapple orange.
I'm sorry. Let me specify. So.
This
yeah,
is different
okay.
from the first beer, I think. Oh, well, maybe not because
Okay, pineapple. I don't get the cheese. I'm not getting the cheese.
what kind
in
of
this.
cheese are you getting?
It was like a cheddar. Maybe it was this.
Eat a cracker.
It's orange pineapple.
Reset that palate.
I was going to eat a piece of a cracker, but
Saison is really nice and effervescent, bright. I get more spice in this one. Head retention is nice. Honestly, this one. Okay, yeah. So we'll score on 1 through 3 of on our merits on that.
I think it was just.
A moment, something,
yeah.
somebody's bad breath.
I went 1, 2, 3 right
Oh.
in quick succession.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was.
So no actual cheese, just a weird tongue thing.
No cheese.
it happens.
No cheese.
So that's number 6.
Yes.
I've got my order.
I got my order.
Yeah. Is okay. How did I do this? 3 last year. 7. Okay, 6. So I have it as 1, 2, 3, and then of these for you. Oh, as
So,
one.
interesting side note here.
Okay.
What's that?
Philip and I just saw who
You got
entered
an
these.
order.
Who entered these top 3 beers.
Need a minute.
Actually, I missed it. Show me again.
All right, I'll show you.
I won't say
7,
no.
1.
Okay, you can't say anything.
I'm not gonna say a
You
word.
can't say anything, but it's
3,
this one,
2, 6.
this one, and this one. This one. Wait,
Okay.
No.
This one.
So that's third for sure.
Do you know that person?
That's
We have a no, we don't.
No, they don't.
No, we don't.
No.
3
Do
wins.
you know this person?
No, I'm gonna say no to all of them. I know
You
none.
want the lowest
You
score.
want the lowest scores.
Oh, you want the
So
lowest
four.
score.
Yeah, you're lying.
5.
5. And this
That brown ale
is
is really good, though.
9.
But I'm-
Yes.
American Porter.
Excuse me, the porter.
Okay, we have our winner. Ben, we have our winner. You have to tell us the name. You have to go to the mic when we have the
But
winner.
honestly, it
go there.
doesn't really matter. They all
I
know
know.
what they entered.
So this is.
Well, they know what they entered.
Well, okay, so this is the order of first, second, and third.
Uh-huh.
So third place
Yep.
is entry number 6 with the pineapple orange fruit beer, which
All right.
who is
Hold on. It is number 6.
Number
Yes.
6. So
Well,
entry
go
number
ahead.
6
Go ahead.
is Nick Seacrest.
No creepy. Oh.
still in the top 3,
Top
so
3,
there's
not
ways
bad,
to
not bad.
kick him down. And number 2, or the second place, is entry number 3 with the Saison.
Entry number 3 is Jonathan Crawford.
Jonathan Crawford. Congratulations.
Interesting. Good job.
I think this was his first time doing it with us. And then the winner, whose recipe will be brewed with us here at the professional system, is entry number 7.
I'm going to butcher your last name, and I apologize now, but Jordan
Martigic.
Yeah.
Jordan, way to go!
Of course, Preston knows who it is. So.
Wow, very cool.
He's a rogue.
Congrats on everyone. Thank you so much for doing all of this. We really enjoyed tasting all of your beers, and I think every single year as we go on more and more, they're getting better and better, and there's just more interesting things to try, and I'm pumped that a dark beer won this year.
Yes.
Super pumped.
I think that's awesome.
And it fits really well because we just made the decision that our Porter's Porter isn't going to be year-round. We're going to be rotating that, so that's a perfect fit for that dark beer spot. Congratulations.
Jordan Martigic. Yes.
Yay!
Well done, Jordan.
Awesome.
I honestly, I could tell as you guys were judging that was definitely a favorite.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
it happens.
That's
And
But
if anyone has any questions on their score sheets or anything, I'd imagine these guys would be willing to have a conversation. I would be willing to have a conversation with anyone. If you're here or in an email, either way.
Yes, that was a fantastic beer, Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink
Matter
it.
of fact,
Yeah.
it's kind of gone.
Did we drink it all? Is there none left?
I think it's gone.
You want a sip of my sip?
I don't know.
Okay.
I kept trying to give you the one that was up there, and you're like, no, I don't need that one.
No, I think you were
The
talking
Saison's
about
equally as good, but I
The
tell you,
That
Saison
is the
was
one that you
awesome.
grabbed. You were trying to
did.
give me another
It's
one, but
powerful.
I didn't want.
I was just trying to give
the
you
Yeah.
brown
the
is
That
flavor.
shall
or the
remain
porter is
nameless.
very nice.
And I think we kept it under 4 hours this year.
We
yes.
kept it, yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome.
We kept it
3
under
hours.
3
Under
hours.
3
Hey.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go. There's the porter
Oh,
winner.
porter.
Thank you.
Yes.
I am going to.
Sweet. Wonderful.
First place
That's
beer
the
right
winner
here.
right there.
Right here.
Well done, Jordan.
Way to go, buddy.
All right. I'll see you guys all next year for our 4th
I'm in.
annual.
I'm in.
You're in. Maybe. We'll
maybe.
see.
It
We'll
depends
have
on the week.
judges.
Yeah, we'll be judging.
Awesome. I don't want a cracker. I want pizza now.
Yeah.
Pizza.
I want a
Heck
full
yeah.
beer.
We have full beers. We've got that too.
We have 4 beers.
Yeah. Awesome. All good?
Yeah, we're good. Hold on. Let's.
All right, are we going to
Do we
close
need to
out?
do an exit?
We're closing
Yeah,
out.
do it now.
No
Jazz
fade out.
hands?
Any final
And
thoughts?
is there any last words?
Any final thoughts?
I think that, again, every year it's getting better. Every year, the people that even have been returning and bringing new beers, I can see an improvement, which is awesome. And I'm pumped to see what's going to happen next year. I'm hoping that, I don't know, we get more people. And this will be the first name that's on that trophy that's not
Yes.
Nick Seacrest.
Yes.
Well, so I'd like to say that it was one of those competitions that there were some good beers.
Yeah.
And we definitely need more entries. How's that?
Yeah.
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 Um,
No.
There's definitely some like ties and nitpicking on some of the very small things to kind of lift above. Yeah, for sure.
Which if you get to those nitpicking, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I
it's
mean?
great.
That's
No,
always,
that's-
you could, yeah.
That means it's a great competition. That's what that is.
Exactly, yeah.
That's literally the best part about it. Is
Yeah.
if you're like arguing about, okay, well, the difference
This
is
or
1
that,
point.
or
That's pretty
yeah.
awesome. That's the calibers there,
So-
you know?
Did you guys say final scores?
So no.
Oh.
Yeah. So just out of curiosity.
Of the top three?
Top
sure.
three, yeah, final
So
scores.
entry number 3, which was the Saison for me, that score was 37.
What was your score in
For number 3,
39.
39.
I was 32.
32. So for entry number 6, mine was 34,
31.
31,
29.
29.
Okay.
And then entry number 7 was 41 for me.
42.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think there's no controversy. Undisputed champion.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Like
Yeah.
even sometimes the last 3 since you guys kind of starting over from scratch. But he had the highest scores.
He had the highest
Yeah,
scores.
Anyway,
by far.
before you went to that finals 3. So
And he picked the right style.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
He
thing.
carbonated the beer well.
Yeah.
It tasted good. It was balanced. It was well executed.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I think picked the right style.
Pick the right style. Yeah.
Which I
There's
again.
I mean,
here.
3 beers that I can just immediately think of in here that if they put into a different style would be rated much differently
Yeah.
than the style that they chose.
And that would be my biggest takeaway from all
Yeah.
of this, from the last 3 years.
Yeah, is picking your
it's-
style.
It's continuing to,
Style and
just
carbonation.
And
That's
lesson
what it
here
has
is
to
just because it has fruit
Does not.
does not mean it has to be in the fruit beer category.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I'd like to just real quick cover the numbers. So the score is 0 to 50, right? So nobody gets a 0. It's typically a 20 or better, right?
Yeah.
Have to turn in water
So
to get it.
if you're within 20 to 30, you're doing well. That's an average beer. That's a good to style. That's something that you should be proud of. If you get in the 30s, that means you're above average.
Yeah.
Every one of us scored the winner in the 40s. What does 40 mean? 40 means it's better than average. It's more to style. It exemplifies what the beer is supposed to be. And every one of the judges today scored the winning beer a 40 or better. So well done. That says a lot. If you're in the 40s, you're
Doing good.
You're doing really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point.
And the trick is all 3 of us scored it in the 40s.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Without
it's not
talking
just
about
one,
it.
one or the other. Yeah.
We didn't tell each other's numbers until just now.
Yeah.
And one, to your point though, especially when you're looking at beers, you have to judge the beers based on the style they are, whether you like the style or not.
Oh yeah.
So, like I'm a
Absolutely.
Saison. I love Saisons. Everybody knows that. Everybody
And I'm
knows
not.
me. And you're
Yeah.
not. But it still scored second place.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, as a professional or as a judge or in any capacity when you're trying other beers, even if you don't particularly like a style, you have to both appreciate and understand what it takes to be that style. So that's why we use those style guidelines. And that's why choosing your style is very important, because the style guidelines are there for us as a baseline. So if you aren't choosing your style properly, you're not choosing your baseline properly. And then we can't judge it whether we like it or not that's a whole nother discussion, right? There are some in here that I really enjoyed. I would drink more, but it didn't hit the style. Or it didn't hit what it was supposed to be, which is a whole nother conversation.
Which I don't know if this was a critique on you or not, but somebody said that you're going to go by the style,
Yes.
which is what you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
beer.
Absolutely.
You said it's this style, that's what I'm judging it as.
Exactly. Right. So
We can't pick the style for you.
Right.
no.
Right.
Which is, you should.
It's to your point. There has to be baseline. There has to be the common. Everything you keep going back to say, is it this? Yes or no?
If there's no common baseline, then we're judging by preference.
Exactly.
And that, I mean,
That's
sure,
all
that
it
could
is.
be fun, but it's not great on a judging the style of the
But
beer
it's apples
itself.
and oranges, not
Yes.
apples and oranges.
Yeah, it's judging taste,
Yeah.
which everyone has a different taste.
Right.
And if you didn't place as high as you wanted to, you didn't get the scores. Let this be a learning experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had some of my beers judged and they were bad, but I've always taken away from that.
Yeah, there's no
good feedback.
fault in tasting bad beer, honestly. It's if you continue to make bad beer.
Yeah.
Because then you're not learning from your mistakes and taking that knowledge from the people around you in how to improve on your styles.
And along that line, if you can always bring beer to the grain cellar.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a no black eye rule. You can bring your beer. I will help you make better beer.
Yes.
That's the whole purpose of the grain cellar. We are here to help.
And I've had people, homebrewers, bring me bottles, and I straightforward ask them, do you want me to critique this, or do you want me to enjoy this with you? Because that's two different things on what to do. And so that if I've got time, sure. I know he's got way better knowledge on how to fix it on a homebrew system. I generally, my knowledge in professional brewing is a little different than homebrewing skills. But we can, you have people around you that are willing to kind of share and taste and really look into it with
In
you.
a very helpful
Yeah.
manner.
Not just
It's
being like,
never,
this is shit.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yes, never. Which has always been a beautiful thing, the
Yeah.
way in the last 3 years, or on your side individually, how all of you all have been very helpful with people who just come by and do that. So, I think it's a wonderful community for people to come in and ask.
Yeah.
So,
As a baby brewer,
Yeah.
I have definitely
You don't
noticed
get
that this
scared away, or
community
you don't
is,
No, it's awesome.
even though you're two different companies,
Yeah.
y'all are sitting right next to each other,
Yeah.
working together, and that's how I've seen this whole community.
Yeah.
has
That's
been.
absolutely
I
right.
think we talk
Exactly.
probably at least once a week.
Yeah. Something that he's thinking or I'm thinking or I need help with or he needs help with, and that's and it helps because we are so close in
Right.
proximity where I'm like, ah, crap, I need more 2-row. I can drive over there and it'll be done, right? Whereas I know that greater beer community, both homebrewers, professionals, it's very much a fraternity, brotherhood, sisterhood, where sure there's friendly competition, we were discussing about the gin saison, where I had put it in barrels and I'll release it, and he's like, I was thinking about doing that. I'm like, you can still do it.
Exactly.
It's gonna taste different.
Yeah,
Oh, it'll taste different.
Oh, they'll be totally different.
But I was just thinking to myself, I would have because I love saisons, I was going to put one in a gin barrel, and I told her, she's like, oh, I just did it. I'm like,
Just goes to show there is no new ideas out there.
no, there's not.
Yeah.
Somebody's already done.
Always just different takes on them,
And I think it helps a lot that a lot of people like drinking beer.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of beer to go
A
around.
lot of beer to go around.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful community, though. I love that, Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you so much for hosting Liquid Lunch.
Yes.
You guys have
Yes.
been awesome.
It's
And then
fun.
obviously free beer and pizza for our wonderful hosts.
It's
And
been a
judges.
pleasure.
Thanks for letting me sit in.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Josh, for
being
bailing,
here.
so I could sit in.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys a whole lot.
I'm not going to hit him too hard. He probably had family things to do. So
I'll-
I appreciate the fact
Well,
that I was giving
we'll
up.
wrap it up here because there's beer to be drunk.
Yeah.
Beer to drink.
Absolutely.
Everybody's just getting
So,
started.
hold on.
And cookies
All right.
to be had.
Cindy, Cody, thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Once again, congratulations, Jonathan, for your porter. It was fantastic. I can't wait till it comes on tap.
For
So, Philip,
completely new.
are we going to call out beer rate again?
Sure, whenever. Just let me know as long as my regular job doesn't get in the way.
Yeah, at work does that. All right, well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Until next year, I am your host, Kennedy. This is Philip.
The sub-host.
Yes, and we will see you again very soon. Once again, congratulations, Jonathan. Good